led to believe that some of you may even have got a notification. Sister Jude Hendricks did notify me that all 3 channels had given us a notification. So I fell off my chair with shock, actually. Quite impressed. Who knows? I've got to work out exactly what happened with that strike the other day, because I shouldn't be able to do this, but straight away we could re-upload. So God only fucking knows. And it seems that the problem I could be having could actually be the application that I'm using at the moment, which is StreamYard. I'll have to get in touch with them, because literally I did a test earlier. I just went, oh, I'm just going to see if I can go out on this, and the whole thing just went black. And I'm like, okay, like that. So evening, Betsy, evening, Bully, evening to all the rest of you that I haven't read out already. If I look a bit tired, I've just been taken to the gym by Psycho, who's taught me how to do free weights. So that burnt a lot. Fucking hell. Anyway, we have medicine. Straight to the gym, straight back on this. But it's working, so who gives a fucking shit? Anyway, I'm allowed to swear because it's my channel. I'll just have a quick sip. Are we all drinking? Put 1 in the comments if you got a drink with you. Put 2 if you'd like to have a drink, but you can't. Put 3 if you're off the drink. It'd be interesting to see what community we've got. I'm stone cold sober. Haven't been to the pub today. Haven't had a drink. That's the first. So you never know. Who knows? So we have people who have a drink. We have one that can't or whatever. Yeah, there's quite a few that got a drink. 69. Interesting position, mate. So are you looking out through a gap, or just interest? Be honest, mate. If I was engaged in that sort of behavior, I'm not sure I'd be watching a wrinkly face old fucker like me, but whatever. Right. Should we do the story? Because of reasons. Right. I'm going to, what am I going to do? I will see if I can get that up. Sounds wrong. And typically speaking, except, now imagine you look slightly camp. There are many out there, men that look camp but that aren't camp. Straight as a die, but still look a bit Stoke-on-Trent. Anyway, well, this mush got 20 days in a Turkish jail for looking gay. Let's see if I can share this, because I just I can fucking believe it. I thought, Jesus, that bloke's been a bit fucking. I mean, admittedly, he is not quite the masculinist looking mush in the world, but I have seen much camper and still allegedly be straight. So a gay Portuguese man claims he was arrested in Istanbul, Turkey, and jailed for 20 days just because he looked gay. Well, that fucking teacher looked like the latest thing, getting your bloody hair dyed and having your fucking whatever. On the 25th of June, Miguel Alvaro Holiday took an unexpected turn when he was arrested by police in Istanbul after asking for directions. Did he have a mincy voice? That won't help him. I don't know. Why is this lighting up? That's interesting. So I can highlight it. Fuck, I don't know what's happening here. Things are looking up. So the arrested, it happened near an LGBT. Hang on a second. If you're not allowed to be gay, and then you rock up to an LGBTQ parade, and he was incidentally there. You're playing with fire, but why didn't they just nick all of them if that's their policy? Not that they should. I mean, if you want to be gay, you be gay. That's your thing, right? And to be honest, I got gay neighbors that they're no harm at all. They're very conservative, not the most masculine creatures in the world, but that's them. They enjoy themselves. They're happy. They don't bother anybody else. Crack on. But anyway, says a parade which was unsanctioned by authorities believes that the officers had ordered to arrest a certain number of people in connection with the event. So this thing, in camouflage as a teapot, right, has gone mincing up to the police and asked them for directions. They probably thought he was taking the piss, hence the reason he got 20 days. They don't fuck about over there. Now, that's their religious reasons, because I do believe that being gay in a certain ideology is, well, frowned upon, although an interesting fact here, Guantanamo Bay, its inmates were predominantly Muslim. And you would need to ask the guards why it was that they went through so many condoms if they were all men. But they did. And there's still no answer. So I'll leave that to your imagination, whatever that is. Right. So he was shocked, appalled, and very angry. I should imagine he was 20 days on his head in a Turkish nick. I can't imagine it being too much fun. They grabbed my arms and I tried to free myself. One of them hit me in the ribs. You don't fuck about over there. They pushed me against the van. They hit me on my shoulder, which started to bleed. Yeah. Following the arrest, Alvo claims he spent 5 hours in a police van where he alleges he was told he was detained because of appearance. Fuck me. Oh, I would participate. They thought I'd participate in the LGBT. Yeah, anyway, so you got fucking nicked. Unlucky, Jeff. That, yeah. When you go to another country, you have to expect the worst. And if you go to Turkey, you better be pretty masculine looking and not fuck about, because they don't fuck about over there. When I went to Spain, which incidentally isn't Muslim, by the way, I went to Tenerife. Their police over there didn't fuck about. You pissed them off and they just clubbed you, battered you. It wasn't a very nice place to go if you were that way inclined for being a dick. What do we got here? TV Peter Cardwell cut short an interview with author Ed Brodman for claiming black people have a higher propensity to commit crime. Oh dear. You can't be coming out with the facts around here, sunshine. That's racism. Oh, and the tweet now doesn't exist. Excellent. So I can't show you it because it's gone. Well done for the enforcer for getting hold of that one early. This was another butte that she found. Let's see if we can show this one. This will piss you off. That's why I'm showing you it, because, well, that's my job, to show you shit. Here you go. Anti-White Watch. If you have not subscribed to it, it's probably worth a subscription, because at the end of the, or follow, or whatever they do on X now, I was going to call it Twitter. It's changed names for some bent reason. Anyway, ethnic European and white folk are facing an existential threat to our people and nationals. Anti-whiteism, we'll recognize it. It's when we seek in yet lack of framework for enumerating it. All right, let's just find out what this is. What is anti-whiteism? Identifying anti-white policies and actions. Depossession. The social, political, and economic disfranchisement, I'm not very good at reading, of ethnic Europeans. I wish somebody else was reading this, actually. In their homelands, through policies such as mass immigration, diversity quotas, and multiculturalism that undermines ethnic European identity. Take pictures of, say, for instance, London's East End in the 60s, and then now, and other parts of London for that matter. Then you could do Birmingham, Leeds, Coventry, Manchester, Liverpool, Bristol. You get the idea. And it's not just here, actually. I suppose if you want to go across to, say, for instance, the Republic of Ireland, that's quite fucked. Although you could go to Germany, it would be the same thing. Spain, Italy, Portugal, take your pick, really. They've managed to destroy most of Europe with this. There it is. Defamation. The use of libel, slurs, and slander meant to discredit the legitimate concerns of ethnic Europeans and dehumanize them as a group, including conspiracy theories and the concepts such as white privilege, white fragility, and critical race theory, which normalizes anti-white tropes. I got through that one. Denial. Many have. Preventing... delegitimizing or attacking the rights. I suppose I should put my glasses on. I've been to the what they call it, opticians got new glasses. Apparently, my old glasses were overprescribed. Yeah, they were too much. Whatever. So anyway, that represents a unique ethnic interest, the denial of national rights afforded to other groups which are not recognized for indigenous Europeans in their ancestral lands or countries. What's he say? Live stream. Oh, it's let me know I'm live now. That's great. I've got a notification that I'm live. It's how long? 12 minutes into the. It's better than nothing, I suppose. Yeah. So basically, it's saying that we're all fucked and they're not going to recognize our rights to our own land, etc., etc. The country is historical, founded and populated by ethnic Europeans. Now, if we were at the part of, say, for instance, a percentage of, say, 2% of other races in the UK, that would be fine. 10% could be acceptable. However, what they want and what they're going to achieve will be by a certain point so far ahead that there will be equal numbers. And at which point there will be massive persecutions towards the indigenous people of the country because they hate them. And it will be backed up by police and other lawmakers. We will always be at the bottom end of the rights, if you want. So replacement. Now, everybody calls that a conspiracy theory, but if you do maths, it's an inevitability. And if nothing's done about this, then we will be replaced. This is facts, because anybody, say for instance, if we got Peachy in here, and she went through how much they're growing and how much they grow within that growth. So obviously 1% to 2% takes a while, 2% to 3% is quicker, and so on and so forth. Then she could do the math and tell you exactly when the tipping point goes over. Now, the tipping point with Islam, when you get to about 40%, or even less, they then want to change to an Islamic country, Sharia law everywhere, etc. So you get it. But also there'll be the different fractions, or factions, I should say, within Islam fighting each other. So the streets wouldn't be safe. So that's obviously something else. So replacement. Any action or policy that seeks to limit, remove, or erase ethnic Europeans from positions in education, politics, and society. Steer foreign people. Yeah, in their place, and includes demographic replacement via immigration, as well as revisionist, historical, and cultural interpretations, basically rewriting history, which they've done. They've rewritten history for many things. The Second World War was quite well rewritten, I think. And let's get rid of that. All right, we'll move off that. Stop sharing. We stop sharing that. What else have we got? 40% of adults in the UK to be obese by 2035. What can you say? It's a fact. It's going to happen. Right, let's put the call number up in case anybody's mad enough to actually want to call. We've got 338 people watching on here, but I'm also going out at the moment on Getter, if it's worked, Rumble, if it's worked, Facebook, if it's worked, and actually Twitter. So some people might be watching it on those ads. We've also reached a new platform, The Rising. I'm led to believe that this will be a free speech version of Facebook, so you can actually put what you're thinking within reason. I suppose if you're calling for death, we are a nation of fatties. Well, you're not, love, but not the skinniest myself. So, what is it going to say? 4 in 10 adults in the UK are expecting to be obese, in a little over 10 years. I think you find them more and more honest there now. Having said that, have any of you ever taken the time to look at what your BMI is allegedly meant to be? Because it's fucking ridiculous. You'd be ill. I'm supposed to be between 9 and 11 stone. 9 and 11 stone. I just got below 13 stone and I look like I come straight out of Auschwitz. So not a good look. And the government is going to try and help by breaking the junk food cycle. Really? How much you tax? See, they say this, but the people from the junk food lobby these people. So it's all talk. It won't happen. So that's that, really. Parents concerned over trans pool officials using women's changing room. My dear God. Oh, it's never right. Right, let's take that over there. I'll come out of that a minute. And I'll come out of that a minute. And I'll come out of that a minute. I'm just going to save myself a bit of room here. Right, where the fuck did that go? I just probably booted it off. Let's try again, because this thing is a thing of beauty and you need to see this. No, I was nearly inviting you there. Fucking hell, Si. And I'm sober. How the hell do I get through this when I'm pissed? There you go. Right. British swimming changes rules after parents complained that trans pool volunteer 65 was wandering through female changing rooms while their teenage daughters were using them, making the girls feel uncomfortable. I'm not surprised. It was a mush, as he even had the operation. But at the end of the day, it was a bloke. It gets confusing for somebody who's just meat and potatoes like me, that a man, and I know people like this, and this is, they're nice, but this is why they explain it. They're a man that's trans to a woman who's now a lesbian because they fancy a trans woman. This is one of them in particular. Great person, but it confuses the shit out of me. So there you go. Anyway, so Anne Coombs, 65, used the women's changing room as a walk-through She recently blasted a hotel for not giving her the key to the female changing room. There might be a bit of an agenda here. British Swimming have changed their guidance on changing room access after parents raised concerns over the transgender pool official using the women's changing room at a time as young girls during a teenage swimming competition. Anne Coombs, who last week blasted a hotel staff for not giving her the key to the female changing room, was volunteering at a British Summer Championships, which was held at the pool. Yeah, I'm sorry. If you know how much abuse is between heterosexual men and women who've got kids, and then gay people that have got kids, and then trans people that have got kids, look into it, find out for yourself, and then think, is this? But that, for me, looks like a geezer that's grown its hair. I'm assuming it's on some sort of tablets because it doesn't look like it's got any growth. So I'm assuming it's probably grown itself a set of thrupnies. But yeah, if that, no. I mean, would you even let your kid go swimming if that was walking through? Fuck, I mean, can you imagine in the old days what would have happened? It wouldn't have been good. The kids would have been safe, but it just wouldn't have gone well. Oh, hang on. We're swearing a bit. Furious at being treated as if I'm not a woman, she tweeted. I am so fucking angry. Oh dear. Maybe I should read a bit more of that. Obviously, it's kicked off because it's not been accepted as being a woman. And yeah, so it started shouting and screaming. I can't help but some of these people think that they're they're mentally ill and they haven't been treated. Turns out the assistant assumed I want a unisex changing room with me dressed like this, sharing a picture of her in a blue skirt. Yeah, she had a fuck off. Actually, I'm not. I can give it a steam off my piss, to be honest. Where are we? Well, okay, so that's gone live. Anyway, excellent. Let's chip that off, and we'll move that down, and we'll fuck that off, and try and give me some screens back. What else? Oh, now this is dark. You might want to take a bit of a drink on this one because this is something new that I've never heard of before, but it's grim. And I might need a bit of, hang on. Block. Right. So anybody remember James Bulger and him being murdered? It turned out that it was two kids that had done it, and they did it in the most horrible way. And since then, one of them's gone on to reoffend and is generally really, really sick. I don't know about the other one. You don't know much about it, but there you go. There's a video of Sinead O'Connor, the IRA supporter. I haven't got much time for her, mate. Sorry. It's beyond sick. James Bulger's mother describes her disgust at seeing TikTok's AI chip of her son describing his murder. What they've done is they've taken pictures of him and they've used AI to bring him back to life and then get him to describe in great detail how they beat him to death. Quite the sickest thing I have heard of, but it's a new thing, apparently. TikTok users are sharing AI generated videos of missing or murdered children. I mean, you know, there was a trend between real sick people who, I remember this child had died, and these trolls managed to contact the mother, pretending that they were the kid coming back from the dead, and saying pretending they were the kid, saying that I'm in hell and I don't like it here, mummy, and it's terrible. For somebody to do that, right? And these trolls are they're immune because they do it through anonymity. I remember I bumped into a troll once, and he'd been trolling similar stuff, and I went, "I'm going to give your details away," and he screamed because he knew what would happen, and he thought it was unfair. He thought he should be able to go and ruin lives with impunity. Prick. But this is pretty grim. Denise Fergus said the videos were disgusting, adding it's bringing a dead child back to life is beyond sick. James Bulger was killed in 1993, abducted and tortured by Robert Thomas and John Venables, both 10, after his mother momentarily took her eye off him. And what parent hasn't done that? Anyway, now users on social media platform have an artificial intelligence to generate likeness of the toddler, giving details of the tragedy. The videos are not unique. The thing is called trauma porn. There's some sick fucks out there. What are they? Not one out to this? The trend has seen AI used to create fakes of other missing and murdered children, including Madeleine McCann and Baby P. Fuck me, there's some sick cunts out there. Look at it. They stamped on me and kicked me. Fucking hell. And that's what he looked like before he was murdered. That was one of the last pictures. That was the one we saw all over the press. Speaking to the Mirror, Fergus said that it's one thing to tell the story. I have not got a problem with that. Everyone knows the story of James anyway, but actually putting dead child's face speaking about what happened to him is absolutely disgusting. Is bringing a dead child back to life, and it's wrong. Stuart, her husband, said he asked one producer in the Philippines to remove the video when it was first made aware of them. The reply said, "We do not intend to offer anyone. No, we do not intend to offend anyone." Fucking reading shit. Thank you, Sid. But anyway, they removed the video first made aware of replies. So tell them rah rah rah. Companies TikTok. So have TikTok got rid of it? TikTok being offshore. And one thing I don't like about TikTok is they want to promote China as being this great place and all the interesting and intelligent videos, etc. But they'll only ever put degenerate shit from every other country on there. And if you start to talk about common sense or anything like that on TikTok, fuck me, this is arguing. I don't know if actually I want to. Yeah, I don't really need to go into too many details. I mean, anybody who doesn't know about it, it was pretty fucking horrendous. And that's the mother. Anyway, so that's pretty grim. And that's the latest thing. So what was it called again? What sort of porn is it? Just so I know, trauma porn. Yeah, that never comes up in your fucking news feed because that's some wrong shit. If anybody did want to call in, there's 411 people watching. And I've managed, hopefully, to get some. Yep, they work. Earlier on, I gave that thing an update, the road. I don't know if that'll make any difference. And I've put some sounds on it. So, yes, Peachy, TikTok is indeed poison. Right, what else we got? Yet again, brought forward by the enforcer. Kiev Pride or Kivy Pride, because it used to be Kiev, but they changed it, didn't they? Because of reasons. Thousands march in Ukraine Pride in Liverpool. And we saw this earlier on because one of the lads on here, Jukebox on my Discord, links in the description if you want to go on there. He was actually caught up in this shit, and you could see all of these people walking across the street. He had a beautiful way of describing it. The war is not over. Do you know, I'd love to see you fuckers on the front line. I truly would. It would be brilliant. Fucking brilliant. What's it say? Pedos are taking over the world. It's messed up. You're not wrong there, Shag. So crowds of people have marched into Liverpool as the city hosted Pride on behalf of Ukraine. Yeah, because I can imagine that going down well with the Nazi battalion in Ukraine. Wonder how they take that one. They weren't too keen on it in the first place. Didn't people of a homosexual nature ended up finding their way into camps along with disabled people, mentally ill people, gypsies, and prisoners of war, not just Jewish people? Crowds of march in Liverpool hosted Pride on behalf of Ukraine. Liverpool City Region Pride Foundation pledged to host Kyiv Pride after Ukraine banned the staging of marches following the Russian invasion. What, because of the Russians, or because they didn't actually want it in the first place? That's the question. After the city hosted the Eurovision on behalf of Ukraine, organizers saw it as an opportunity to continue the legacy. Hundreds of LGBT Ukrainians marched alongside people celebrating Liverpool's annual Pride. Shouldn't you be back in your country fighting for it? It's like that person that goes down to Speaker's Corner and shouts wildly and loudly about how we're not doing enough. Well, he's young fighting age lad. Why aren't you over there doing your bit rather than shouting over here? You know, as if you're not even honest about it anyway. Andy Herring, head of Liverpool City Region Pride Foundation, said LGBT people in the global community. And was that guy that I saw a video about earlier on? What a wet weekend that was. All right. Anyway, it's crucial and shout out loud and solidarity to all the LGBT. This is what he was saying in that anti-white, anti-Great Britain, anti-England, anti our culture, push LGBT, because You speak to the average gay bloke or lesbian woman, the average one, they ain't want part of this shit. They know that they're being used. They know that cultural Marxism or whatever you want to call it has got hold of them and they're using them just for their own benefits. Globalism is using these people, right, to break down society. And when they've used these, and there's a lot of mentally ill people within that group, when they've used them, held them up to some elevated status where they feel great and they feel empowered and they feel wanted and liked, they'll drop them from a height, which they've done with every other community or people that they'd held on high. Like they do exactly the same with these people who are, say, for instance, famous for 10 minutes because they get on this show, you know, that brings them out. And anyway, they drop them, and then these people end up with suicidal tendencies because they don't know how to cope with the dejection. These people, after they get dropped by the system, will not know how to cope because they're not special anymore. They don't have the privilege. They don't have the status. They don't have anything. Nobody gives a fuck about them. Nobody gives them special rights or anything else. They won't know how to cope with it, and we'll be dealing with people who are suicidal, especially if people start turning on them, because the system, I don't know if you've ever noticed this, the system will elevate somebody, then after that, they'll turn on them. Take, for instance, the leader of Ukraine. He's not exactly doing too well at the moment, I don't think. Mind you, he's a baghead and an actor. Done a lot of money, but I can't see his. I don't put it this way: if I was Mystic Meg, I wouldn't see his future looking too good. Why do all these LGBT people either look angry or mad? Who knows? Report on. Right, what's this? Western England bylines. Yeah, whatever. Bob Copeland reports from the conference Marxism 2023. Marxist thinkers, he reminds us, still have a message for us. Right, so wasn't Marxist. He was a failed Jewish rabbi that believed in, well, he hated the rich, although he took their money. And apparently he wasn't too good at hygiene, allegedly, but I don't know, never got close to him. However, because of Marxism, I do believe that, didn't that go on to help other things get formed? So, yeah, I think personally, if there was one bloke that we could have done without in the past, would have been Karl Marx. Here we go. The Socialist Workers' Party hosted 4 intense days with over 100 presentations and discussions attended by a mixed bag of around 5,000 people. There were members from various progressive parties, people of all faiths and no faith, trade unions, and activists from a range of, and we've got a call. Hello?
Hello.
Right. Hang on. I've got a problem because this isn't working. I've got to come out and come back in again. Right. So the update worked well then. Just bear with a second, mate. Let's try again. Fucking thing.
Which bugger off now?
No, you're all right. You're actually, it's worked again. But when you go, it was like, it's like, what the fuck is that about? Anyway, my dear, go on. What were you going to say?
Nothing. We just wanted to know if the phone line was working.
Yes, it is. Yes.
Right then.
But nobody
I'll let you crack on.
Nobody cares.
Nobody cares. Okay then. Bye-bye.
Bye. Yeah, everybody's having their fucking tea or something. Hello, can you hear me? Yeah, I can. There you go. Right. So yes, the phone line does work, although it wasn't working very well until you rang. So well done, mate. Anyway, yeah. So socialism is still trying to push itself in the UK. Socialism's done more harm. Actually, ask the people of Venezuela how much they like socialism. The average Venezuelan that is under the socialist state is probably about a stone lighter than he should be. So it's not worked very well for him. Right. What's this one? Oh, this is on X. So let's move that over there. Klaus Schwab has infiltrated the governments of the world. No shit, Sherlock. That's like saying water's wet, but there it is. Well, I suppose there's people that don't know it. I suppose we take for granted what we do know. Anyway, according to Dr. Mike Yeadon, a former vice president of Pfizer. Oh dear. Okay. He might be a good one, as it was a former vice president. The leader of most G20 countries, including Merkel, Macron, Trudeau, and many others, are working to further the interests of Klaus Schwab. We know that. they were what they called his young proteges, and the World Economic Forum, at the expense of the citizens of the represented nations or respected nations. We have a call in. Hello.
Hello, Simon.
How's it going?
Yeah, not too bad, thanks. Couple of things I wanted to talk to you about. Not exactly the subject you was initially talking about, but
go on.
I think it's a very important subject. I suppose you've noticed lately about all the stores and all the shops, etc., shutting down branches, as well as all the banks, etc.
So I know that banks, I mean, take for instance, the village I live in had 3, there is none. I know that they shut down a few banks down the Western High Street, and also I think down the little villages next door, like Whirl or whatever. So aware of that. But when you say shutting down stores, what sort of ones are you talking about?
But Argus, they're shutting down a load of stores.
What they've done is they've gone into Sainsbury's. I don't know if you've noticed. I did notice that, but they've actually, what a lot of them are doing. Take for instance, Argos have gone in with Sainsbury's. I believe that what's it called? Fucking hell! I used to work for them, for fuck's sake. Morrison's are now letting I think it's Ocado use some of their places, and vice versa. They're starting to share the cost, and they're starting to use each other's spaces. So I've noticed that, which does say to me that they're not making allegedly as much money as they used to, and they're having to cut corners. But no, so yes and no. But it seemed to me that they were still there. They haven't closed down. They've just moved into. It's a bit like what was the name? I think it was the Range. Or was it a garden centre? And what they did is, to keep going, they had Iceland move in to their stores so that it could be called a food store and stay open during the pandemic. So that is in some ways part of it, but I don't know. Maybe that's the reason that Argos stayed open, because it was under the umbrella of Sainsbury's. I don't know. What else have you noticed?
Yeah, of course, Iceland are shutting down some branches as well, and Spoons are planning to shut more pubs as well.
Yeah. Whereas he was making a lot of money, the lockdown did screw him up. And take, for instance, say Weston-super-Mare, there was one called the Dragon and one called Cabo. Dragon was the original one, but when they opened up the Cabo, I think they've either closed it down or they were going to close it down. The other one, because one makes they didn't need to, and it was cutting back. But I think you find he is struggling a bit now. But I suppose when you put huge amounts of taxes on a company, and the cost of making the beer it's gone up, and then you get lockdowns as well, you're going to wreck it all. But it seems to me that what they want to do is make sure that we're going to struggle to be able to get anything.
Yeah, I completely agree with it. I mean, common sense logic should tell anybody, if you want a successful, vibrant economy, you make power and energy as cheap as humanly possible, and you don't put any bloody tax on it.
Well, the power companies made record profits. It's another thing that I found interesting is I've been working on the new power lines that have gone in to take power from the new Hinkley Point back into Bristol, and well, that's the line I'm working on. It could have been finished so much longer ago, and they've put numerous amounts of security in there. They've gone over the top with everything they've done. They've actually tried to rinse out far more out of the job than would ever need doing, and it's run over, but we're paying for it. So there it is. But if you would say, for instance, it's a bit like building a motorway nowadays. The people that build the motorway tender for it, that they're in league with the government. If you look at when we built motorways back in the 60s, we closed down the railway because Ernest Marples, who was in charge of transport, right, was or had a construction firm, and he got called out in the end. So they end up putting his wife's name, saying, "I'm not making any money out of it." But that's part of the reason we closed down the railways. Now, you make a motorway these days, and you make it as expensive as possible. They could make a mile of motorway in the 60s with that technology every week, and now we can't do anything because we've dragged it out. Health and safety is nothing but making sure we pay double for everything, and it's bollocks. But everything that we do nowadays is made much more expensive because somebody's making a shitload of money and bunging somebody in power the money, and then we suffer from it. So
I agree with what you're saying. It makes perfect sense. A slight offshoot from what I said initially, you probably heard the report from the World Economic Forum saying that, over the next few years, there's basically worldwide going to be millions and millions of jobs lost. Well, you would think with them being aware of this in the not too distant future, one way to keep people in work, if you had a sensible, logical plan, would you drastically reduce the retirement age? You wouldn't upgrade it in order to free up jobs. So if you're not going to do that, yet you're talking about universal basic income, how can they fund that if they can't fund people retiring early? Don't make any sense. One would think that the plan is to get rid of a load of people instead.
Well, we don't know if further on down the road they've got something else planned, which is going to be far worse than what the last thing was. And I've got to watch what I say here. There may be something that one of these horrible places around the world has been working on that will be released and that could do huge population, right? Maybe. Also, you don't know what people are going to live to now, given the fact of what they've had done to them in the last 3 years. I've got to be careful what I say there as well. But also, you've got a diminishing population of white people because white people are not producing like they used to. And the other population that are producing, some of them have numerous wives, so they won't be able to work anyway. But yeah, they'll work the old people that are there into the ground because they don't want to pay them anything. And also, we've raised a lot of kids these days that won't be able to work because of mental health.
Yeah, well, with regarding youngsters, the other week I went in a fish and chip shop and I decided to pay with cash, not a card.
Mm-hmm.
And for a small fish and chips, it was $5.50, which I thought was very competitive in this day and age. I gave the girl £10.60. And she didn't give me any change. I said, hang on a minute, I'll give you a tenner. She said, oh, sorry. She gave me a fiver. But say, hang on, I'll give you 60p. I mean, you've got to give me another 10 pence. It's completely beyond them. It's absolutely stunning, you know?
Be honest, I haven't used cash for a while. Then I've gone back to using it, right? And now I find myself taking longer to count stuff out. I have got more going on in my head than I used to have. But even so, you've got to check, because you're out of practice, and that was purposeful. But they're France, they do something different, don't they? They all go down there mob-handed and fill up the trolleys and say, well, we can leave it here, mate, or you can take cash. They're polite about it, but all of a sudden the place goes back to using cash. They do the same with the fuel stations, but our lot won't do that.
Yeah, I did actually hear about that. Yeah, and then the other thing I noticed with the youngsters nowadays is that they simply don't seem to be aware of any potential dangers or hazards in life. They seem to be completely oblivious to things.
Well, that was the point of making everything health and safety. It stopped you thinking for yourself because there was a label or a rule or something somewhere telling you what to do, so you didn't have to think for yourself. I mean, fancy having to put a label, don't put your hands on this fire, it's hot. What level of stupid are people? And what level of parenting have we got to where you'll let your kids run up and put their hands on a fire? You know, you tell them you can't go there. And in the old days, you'd have to listen. And if you touch the fire, you'd probably get smacked as well. But we've got a different way of parenting because parents weren't allowed to discipline their kids since the late 80s. Otherwise, childline, that was a fucking thing. So we've got undisciplined, we've got the school that have mentally weakened them, plus the internet, which has mentally weakened them. Staying in their bedrooms for endless amounts of time playing gameage has weakened them. The fact that they can't actually communicate with each other because they don't see each other as much, and when they do, they'll just grunt at each other like fucking weirdos. There are normal kids out there, but there are some also fucktards. And then you've got the kids in the inner cities who I've joined gangs and they're fucked anyway. So yeah, it's pretty bad. But these are going to be the next policymakers.
Yeah, and you know, with regards to if things do hit the fan in the next few years, I mean, I'm on the far wrong side of 50. You know, I'm an old git now, to put it bluntly. But you know, so obviously I'm concerned. But if it does hit the fan, I see these youngsters having much less a survival chance than us, to be perfectly honest.
100%. What do you think? I've started going to the gym. It's not just about my health. I'm worried about what's coming, and I want to be able to look after me and the people in the closest vicinity to me if it gets worse. So,
Yeah, and of course another slight thing. This is slightly off track, but you know, Mr. Starmer, you know, this alleged leader of the opposition, ex-trilateral commission, globalist. He doesn't know what a woman is, and he doesn't know what a socialist is. If he was a socialist, he wouldn't have accepted the title. He doesn't know what the truth is. And regarding him, why didn't the MSM interview his wife and ask his wife what she thinks about him?
because they might not get the reply they want.
It's just that you would have to be some sort of village idiot to vote for that globalist, wouldn't you?
I got some pillock in the comment. He'd like to shave my face with his shoe, and Simon's just admitted he's a sellout. How is that then, Sweet Pea? I think we've got a troll. But yeah, sorry, mate. I just found that interesting because it's one of those fake accounts. How the fuck do you educate kids that are so fucked? How do you deal with the future? How do you, as an older person, protect yourself? How do you? I don't know. We're fucked. We are. But you're going to have people teaching these kids in a crash course how to be men and how to do the right thing. So we are fucked. This is what.
Have you heard about the latest thing? I mean, you may well have done. I've only just heard about it. This thing called WorldCoin. Have you heard about that?
No, I haven't. No.
Apparently, people are. I got this off Redacted. I don't know if you follow Redacted. They're quite good, quite interesting. I think they're based in Portugal. I think they're two Americans, but they're based in Portugal now. And regarding this WorldCoin, apparently this organisation are getting people to have their retinas scanned, and then they're being paid some sort of Bitcoin as a reward. Sounds very dubious. It don't sound very clever. Like I said, I've only just about heard about it, so I think you'd find it interesting if you look into that. Sounds pretty scary to me, to be honest.
Well, there are certain applications works that scan your retina to get you into a place. That's not a new thing, but I mean, I think it's something we're going to have in the future anyway, especially with 15-minute cities. It won't just be your fingerprint, that they use. You may well end up having to have face recognition to go in and out of somewhere eventually. It's not too far out of the obvious. So yeah. But it's going that way, isn't it? It's Big Brother.
Yeah, and of course, the other thing, in the past, I was involved in a family business. And when you're involved in business, you realise how scummy a lot of people really are, how untrustworthy they are.
So many. And even the people you think you can trust.
and of course, if I was scanning people's retinas, if I was a dubious character, you could use that to take them to the cleaners, because isn't that the ultimate form of ID?
Well, what they'll just do is they'll say, look, you either want this and if you do, you got your retina scanned, or you don't get it, and that'll be the way it is.
No, I was sort of getting at the fact that if they do this, which apparently a lot of the youngsters are doing this, what happens if this data goes out on the black web and they get taken to the cleaners? I mean, if that's your ultimate ID, it could probably be falsified with types of artificial intelligence, etc. But I tend to look at the negative element always, so you're in a defensible position. If you always look on the dark side, you'll never be disappointed.
Basically, but whenever they come out with technology, there'll always be somebody who's clever enough to come out with another way of getting around it or using it against you. I mean, do you remember when we had firstly the card where you could go through the slider, and they said, well, that was going to stop crime, and it didn't. So then we had to have chip and pin, thinking that would be all right, but then they found a way around that. They'll always find a way around stuff, and it doesn't matter how much security. There'll be somebody that'll outsmart, because there's very, very intelligent people out there working for the wrong means, if you want.
Yeah,
We're basically in the old days when you had pound coins and £10 notes or whatever, you thought you were right with that, but they made fake ones of those, didn't they? So you didn't really know.
Oh yeah.
So there will always be people working to make money out of unsuspecting innocent people. They always have.
Yeah.
Scam callers, you know.
Yeah. Okay, it's been nice talking to you anyway.
No worries, mate.
Before I leave, I'll pass on this thought. Do you think Charles was friends with Jeffrey Epstein? I'd give it 10 out of 10.
Probably, yeah. I'd have thought so. His brother was. I mean,
Precisely.
is it too much to say that he probably hadn't made it there?
Why has nobody asked the obvious question? And if that was the case, he shouldn't be in the position he's in now, should he?
Well, you look at all the famous people that ended up getting caught out after. So, for instance, Ted Heath. They knew what he was back then, but nobody said anything. And there's so many of them out there that are like it. Why are they gonna offer him up?
Yeah. And there's a lot of fishy stuff around Theresa May as well.
Wasn't she involved in trying to lower the age of consent? And didn't she lose?
I know there's that Labour MP, the one that challenged Boris. I know she was very much involved in that years ago. I can't remember her name though.
Wasn't Theresa May helpful in stopping certain investigations going ahead into paedophilia and that kind of stuff?
I believe so. And I think when the commission was set up, she put people in charge of the commission that were actually tainted with it.
Mm-hmm. Now, there is some Harriet Harding, they said on there, but it wasn't her dad.
Yeah, that's it. Harman's the Labour one. Yeah. I mean, if people knew more about her, well, I'm not going to say what they would think, but, I'm surprised Boris didn't have something to say to her about that. Not as though I'm a fan of him. If he told the truth, it would take an act of God, I think. So
he couldn't lay straight in bed. The only thing he can do is get women pregnant en masse. But fair play to him, at least it works. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't know how they've managed to find so many degenerates to go into positions of power. I think they've actively searched them out. But when you listen to people saying that to be very good in business, you have to have a certain level of psycho tendencies, because you've got to have literally no conscience and stuff to achieve greater profits. And they said they were running out of them around the world. There just wasn't enough of these people of management quality to get. But I mean, if you think about it, Churchill had to make decisions back in the day that were, you either kill these lot or you kill that lot, which is for the greater good. And you had to make the decision who dies. That's got to take its toll on you, but you have to have a certain way of thinking to be able to do that. Now, when you look at the people who are in positions of power, they are very much removed from the people they serve, and they can't feel for them. There's no empathy for them. They don't equate to them. They don't associate. So,
yeah, I fully agree with you. Like these old cronies in America, These people never want to retire. They never want to give up. A lot of them are at death's door and they have this desperate bid to hang on to power, even though they might be dead
because they're
the
addicted.
following day.
It'll get them off more than an
Even with-
orgasm. But do you remember the Kremlin back in the day, the Politburo? All of them were literally close to death.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. And just before I go, one other thing regarding Mrs. May. Do you know about her husband?
wasn't he in charge of the weapons that were replacing the
Yeah,
weapons that
yeah.
were going to be used over in what's the country Assad was in charge of at the time?
Yeah.
It was
Yeah,
a
I
conflict of
think
interest,
he's-
wasn't it? Basically, because he was part of the management of the arms that were going to be sold, and there was a conflict of interest because if the war had gone ahead, she stood to gain through her husband financial benefits from it.
Yeah, and the other interesting thing, she was the one who brought in this law about human slavery into this country, so it's hard to get rid of people. Yet her husband was helping to produce arms to kill people. Bit of a conflict of interest. I mean, if she actually believed in that, why didn't she demand that her husband resign from the post?
Because she doesn't care about humans. But here's a thought.
Of course she does.
Do you
Of
remember
course she does.
Do you remember when we were locked down and they said that the British people are lazy and won't go out and pick fruits? They got a load of Eastern Europeans in. And then it turns out that these Eastern Europeans are working for peanuts and being put up in shit accommodation and not looked after. And some of them are getting knocked for the wages. And they want far off bloody slave labor. But what they knew is that the farmers knew this and the rest of the people knew that the British people will work for a certain wage. They won't work for less. So
yeah. Okay, I'll let you go now. Anyways, keep up the good work and don't let them drag you down.
it is what it is. It's another day, isn't it? So yeah. All right, mate. No worries. Well, thanks for calling in.
Cheers. Yeah, cheers then.
See you later.
Bye. Bye.
Oh, that's good. Looking in the comments. There's the lovers and there's the haters. And we got a call. Hello.
Hello, Donkey. How are you doing?
Living the dream, you?
Fucking living the nightmare. You've not been on much lately.
What, me? Yeah. Well, I thought I was banned. Oh, turns out I wasn't. I know. I thought I got 2 weeks now doing fuck all because they give me a strike, but turns out that it wasn't actually a strike. They said it was a strike, but it didn't want a strike. And when you looked into it and asked for details, they couldn't give you any. Fucking asked me. I had no idea.
So I was phoning up to see what you think about the ULEZ. What's happened there?
What, the fact that it was always going to pass and go through?
Yeah.
It's a foregone conclusion, isn't it? I mean, when a man who's putting through these rules got into power because he won 120% of the vote, right? And you do have to ask questions that, he's always been a bit grubby, hasn't he? I mean, that job where he was representing the dead terrorists of 9/11. I'm sorry, I kind of find it hard that we even took a person like that seriously after. But we did, or maybe we didn't.
How do we let them stand?
Well, I don't think we were actually given a choice. I mean, what is it they said? If voting made a difference, we wouldn't be allowed to. So, right. Si, look at your tweets tonight. Tell me your thoughts. I got to go over there and have a look, and I'm doing a live stream at the moment, so I've got to be a bit stuck. Oh, I can try.
Go on, have a look.
Yeah, let's have a look. Live stream Saturday night, live tonight, notifications. That might be it. Not a firework or sound of it. Just that's interesting. What the fuck was that? Somebody.
What's that?
Somebody called Lorraine. I'll post it. You could. Well, you won't be able to see it.
I'm actually out walking the dog.
Well, that makes it interesting. Calling in while you're working the dog. I like it. Some fire fucking thing flew over and has landed and caught flames. Oh, this will be. Hang on, I think this could be the same thing.
UFO stuff, is it?
I think it could be. Yeah, it's a big shiny light that's gone straight over the top of these houses. I
Yeah.
have no idea what the fuck is going on there, for being honest.
It's a fucking club of Rome, isn't it?
Do you remember when they had that meteor go through? I think it was part of either Ukraine or Russia, and literally
Yeah,
it blew all the
the big
windows out
one.
of the fucking place, didn't it? But this
Yeah.
looks like an old RAF base, like the houses for that, whatever. Fuck knows. Actually, I wonder if it's got any sound effects.
Locking.
Yeah, definitely. Let's see if there's any sound effects. No, no sound effects. We'll see if that one's got any sound effects. No, I haven't got any sound effects. So fuck knows. I don't know what it is. I just know I wouldn't want to be there. Hey, can you imagine if fucking, what was it, Mork or Mindy? No, he lands in the back garden and comes out. Oh, might be a laugh. But yeah, no idea what that is. Never give up. Keep doing what you're doing, mate. Cheers. Although there's people on it in the comments that would rather I didn't do it, but I better get citations for that.
Yeah, well, like fucking.
Yeah, it's only some young melt.
You know, the numpties.
Yeah,
To coin the phrase.
bless them. Yeah.
No, well, I've been about you lads. I've been saying, you know, you lads coming to everywhere near you soon.
Yeah, pretty much.
Sooner than you think.
Except Birmingham, where they won't pay. They put it in there, and everyone will fuck that. I ain't paying that sugar. Fucking shove it up your arse eat. And I heard that loads of them didn't pay. I don't know what the story is at the moment with it, but
they wrote off a load apparently.
Yeah. So Birmingham had it. Bristol has got its version. Bath has got its version. Many places. So if you haven't got a Euro 6, is it motor?
And I haven't.
Yeah, I mean, the trucks that I was driving before had, but one of them didn't. So if you were working, you had to go round this, which cost more fuel. So it was actually counterproductive. Now, here's the thing, right?
Well,
all of these vehicles that then have to circumnavigate round, the air blows the fumes in whatever direction the air's going in. So didn't they do a test, right, on above subsurface?
Glasgow, the quality of the air decreased after they introduced the low emission zone.
I know that they said that there was some bloke going around there with one of those like air quality meters, right? And he said above surface in London, it's fine. Then he went below ground and it was massively dangerous. And that's what they expect everybody to travel.
Guy. Yeah, it's the brown car guy, that.
Yeah, so, yeah. Fuck that. No thanks.
And as PAS put up, it's just legalised theft.
So somebody's saying here, you missed the point, Rev. The point is you will submit in the end. Well, unless everybody ends up fighting it or turns it into carnage, yeah, you will submit.
Well, I do wonder if that's where we're heading.
Truth is, most of you won't be able to afford a car by the time they're finished with you.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Basically, I've got a 14-plate Transit and I've got a 10-plate L200. Neither of those are Euro.
Petrol or diesel?
So, diesel. But
you fucked on, yeah.
The plan was to go and buy an old 2.8 because that actually is allowed to drive through there for some reason. And then I could just go sideways everywhere and pollute the fuck out of the place because literally it chucks out everything short of fucking poison at the arse end. Well, it is poison, so.
Anything after petrol after 06 should be ULEZ compliant. And diesel, I think, is 2016.
Well, that's it.
Although I think there was some 2015 that fell in.
Not that rich. I haven't got anything that new, so. But
no.
I don't know how much I'd have to pay actually to go through. But to be honest, where it actually is, you haven't got to go far around parts of Bristol. But the one thing it does do is you can't go over the Portway. And that stops you getting into Bristol through one of the major routes, and it stops you making your way up towards going up the Portway to Avonmouth. So it is a problem.
Yeah, isn't there somewhere at Bristol as well, or was that Birmingham? So I don't know, it's something like a museum, and the entrance to the car park was something like 3 meters inside the zone.
Something like that.
3 meters.
Yeah. They're a twat. Right, so it's £12.50 a day. Fuck it. Like I'm going to go in. I need an excuse not to go to Bristol anyway, so that just suits me a treat. Yeah, if they try and give me a job within Bristol, they're going, oh right, well you've got the agency say, well you've got a job there. I'll be like, well no, I haven't, because I ain't paying £12.50 a day to get in there. Not just that.
Yeah.
If you start on Monday afternoon and you finish Tuesday morning, you got to pay it twice.
Twice. Yeah.
Yeah, fuck it off.
No, I spent some time down there in Abbeywood and staying on Gordano services.
So
the days in.
I've been told yet again, I'm missing the point. Euro classifications for EU regulations, we are no longer part of the EU. Yeah, if you believe that, we're not.
It's still a classification that we abide to.
Yeah, I mean,
in the
apparently
UK.
we're going to get rid of the CPC, the driver CPC, which I think Europe is still using. But we'll see.
Which would be good.
Well,
Because when I got made redundant, I was out driving a few days later.
a lot of drivers
now I couldn't
left.
do it because of CPC.
Yeah, a lot of drivers left because of the CPC. I went, I'm not fucking taking this. I've been driving trucks for years. This is shit. But £12.50 a day for ULEZ zone, £100 a day for clean air zone. Fuck that off. I'm playing that.
So it's fucking ridiculous. I'm just going back to that light. Isn't it funny as well? All the countries are coming out now about UFOs, aliens.
It's the latest thing, isn't it? Well, they weren't.
Yeah,
they're not
which
scared
is
about
all
this. Or they're
part
scared.
of-
Yeah, they're not scared about that or that. So they're scaring with a UFO. Here's another one.
Oh,
Hang on. I'll play it to you. Actually, well, I'll play it to them because you won't be able to see it because you're there. So this is what they're on about. Let's liven it up a bit. So this is big light that's come fucking. Is this going to play or what? There you go. I have no idea what that is. Let's see if we can get another one on there because the other one was a little bit more. All right, I've gone the wrong way. That one there. We'll play that. I have no idea what it is. Whatever it is lit up a tree. I would suggest if this crashed into the earth, then the shockwave would have knocked all of those. Would have knocked everything over. Whatever it is now on fire in the hedge. And I'm imagining that it must be incredibly hot because it's gone up like a fucking tree. But I don't know. Is it real? Is it not? Who knows?
meteor, small meteor.
Well,
that hasn't fully burnt off.
Getting meteors hitting us is we've had that, haven't you? Tiny little things that come in and when they go through our atmosphere get hot.
Yeah.
But
constantly burning up. It's what shooting stars are.
So apparently it's an Imperial Star Cruiser by the comments, which is nice. You wait till they disembark off that.
Yeah, Darth Vader's going to come walking off.
Did you get duty frees on that? And did you have to have a vax to get on the fucking thing? There you go.
Yeah, have to have your bloody COVID passport. Sorry, I shouldn't use that word. Yeah.
There's a lot more.
Will be.
There's a lot more talking about it over in America than there is over here. There's a lot more sensitivity over here at the moment.
Oh well. Anyway, I'll let you go, Donkey, and I'll give you a bow while I was out for a walk.
No worries, mate.
And yeah, glad we're allowed to do it.
Well, I take it the wife wouldn't let you call otherwise.
No. She's quite relaxed about it, but she can. Yeah. She's quite relaxed about me calling these yourself and there's the odd one or two I speak to.
So you're unfaithful then, eh? You call others.
Oh, she calls others as well.
All right. All right. I've got to be careful because I've left the telly on with you on. That's fucked it then, son. I get back home now. Get your excuses going.
Yeah, no, she knows I was calling you. I said it as I was leaving. And,
I'm going to call that nutter on the internet. All right, love, but just don't give any more details away. Oh, by the way, I haven't heard about that what happened in Warsaw, so not good. Hang on. If you pay ULEZ, you are the problem. And if you don't pay it, you're in trouble. That's the problem. I get it.
That's it. Catch-22, isn't it?
You got to be pretty strong
You know,
to stand up to the system.
you either got really strong or you've got nothing to lose.
Yeah. So if they've taken everything away from you, you got fuck all to lose. 70,
Yeah, but at the moment they
70
haven't.
75-inch of rev in the front room. Fuck yeah.
You bragging?
No, somebody just
That's why
said
you call donkey.
just say no. Yeah, 75 inches of me. Fuck it, hell, mate. If I was 75 inches, I wouldn't be on here doing this.
Yeah, I'm only 2 inches, mate, from the floor.
Yeah, nice. Like it. Yeah, stir your teeth for that. Yeah, excellent. Well, I'll let you go. You can get back to the house and see what damage you've done.
Yeah, that's it. Buy me bags packed.
Beautiful. I'm off. See you later, love. Yeah.
I would see you, Simon.
All
Bye.
right, mate. See you in a bit, mate. Bye.
Bye.
I do like it. Oh, I tell you what, I'm absolutely fucking knackered. I was planning to go on for a while and then maybe have a panel go over to, which one is it I'm thinking about going over to? Rumble. But I'm absolutely fucked. Hello. Hello. Guess not then. Let's have a look. Right, we're ringing again. Hello.
Yeah, sorry about that. I just bloody pressed the back button, right? And yeah, never mind.
It happens. How
How
is
you
it?
doing anyway? Good.
Yeah. Hot, bothered, tired, fucking want to sleep. But yeah, all good.
So you mentioned Churchill earlier.
Yeah.
And I'm just wondering what sort of like your history is on Churchill, and do you think that sort of like we have a warped history that he's come out to be the good? Well, he has come out to be the the good Samaritan and sort of like the hero. And
Yeah,
how is
I
it
think that
tracked
we've had a revised
Sure.
history of a lot of things. I mean, if you look how fucking
Yeah.
bad he fucked up when he went to the Dardanelles, and all the problems that he caused in the First World War. If you look the way he knew that there were submarines in the Irish Channel, if you want to call it that. I don't know what you call it, the Irish Sea. And he put the Lusitania in there to get sunk women and kids and shit on it, knowing that he could bring the Americans into the war. So he was fairly calculating.
Of course it was.
I think
it's the same as Pearl Harbor as well, perhaps. Do you think?
In what way?
So
I mean, don't forget the guy who was in charge for Pearl Harbor didn't show up for 3 days.
I think sort of like when you look at intelligence and like how like I've worked it out of just how bloody smart we are as we're just smartest. I don't mean the British people because we're dumb as fuck, right? Yeah, but I think sort of like the intelligence within the intelligence of what's going on to calculate the different things that need to happen. So everything is like everything is run from the UK, and sort of like we've got our operatives over there and we make things happen. And I cannot believe for the life of me when I look back at films and all this brainwashing that I've gone through to say, well, did the Japanese really sort of like get this far and really get this far to actually, you know what I mean? The intelligence would have been.
They knew that they were coming and they let them attack him. I'm led to believe that the president was out of communications for 3 or 4 days. They couldn't get hold of him because there was a lot to it, whether you believe it all or not. But in a time of war, you do not put all your battleships tied up one next to each other like that, like they were. All right. And I mean, they knew that they were going to get attacked long before they did. But the servicemen of the Arizona and the other boats were counter. They were just, well, I don't know, fucking, they mean nothing to them. The servicemen of America. I mean, look how well they looked after them after Vietnam. Look how they looked after them now. It's the same with us. We don't look after our servicemen after we've used them.
There was something that came up interesting yesterday that someone said on some program that basically like some of our personnel, our Navy personnel, had done some nuclear stuff, gone through some testing, and they'd all been pretty much damaged like when they come out, and they've been trying to get these sort of like acknowledgements to get some compensation back. And it just hadn't happened, and they just did not want to know. The UK government did not want to know, and I think someone's just hit the nail on the head, really. Sort of like to say, well, these guys have been fighting from the 50s all this time. Like, a lot of them probably dead anyway, but had been fighting all this time for damages, and they did not want to give a damn. Oh, but hang on just a minute. They want to give you a new procedure here, and they actually give a damn now, do they? And it's just, it was another one of those where obviously the damages are coming through now, and I'm sure that those people who have had those damages are probably saying, we want compensation.
Have you ever heard about
Yeah.
a film called, not a film, a song called 19 by Paul Hardcastle? Well, they soundbited that from a film that was made, I think it was about 10 years after the Vietnam War. And they interviewed a guy called Pee Wee, who was a war hero, and a load of others who seemed normal. But they went through the Vietnam War, and when they came out, they turned into lunatics and they committed crime, and some of them were on a self-destruct, and some of them now are looking at 100 years. Pee Wee, the biggest, well, the one that's interviewed the most, and the one who's also sound-bited. So he's basically, his voice is all the way through. It's kind of weird after having grown up with that tune, watching him, but very very sensible, very lucid. And he says, if you send a person into a war like that, and he's wearing his friend's brains all over him, and he has to do this, and he comes back unharmed, he said, now that would be scary. He says, you know, you send them away for X amount of days, or 2 years or 3 years, whatever it is, and you expect him to be faced with the death every day, and he has to murder people and whatever on behalf of the government, and he has to see his mates get killed, and he's supposed to come back and be completely fucking normal. Well, it's not the case. It isn't going to happen. Not just that, these people were on all sorts of drugs just to try and get them through, and they were told to go into villages and just execute. They weren't always told that, but it has been proved now. And fuck that. And then you want them to come back to normal life. How would you do that? I don't get it.
Well, this is the crack, isn't it? You know, the thing is what's going on in Ukraine at the moment. Some videos coming out on that one at the moment that the Ukrainian sort of like guys have been hanging over various vicinities, drugged up to the high heaven, and when people come out of the vicinities, they shoot them, and they're now sort of like having to say, look, you know, I was just drugged up, I'm really sorry. Got to various sort of like vicinities outside of Ukraine to say, look, this is what's going on, we're getting drugged up, and don't get me wrong, they're getting given cocaine for whatever reason, but
didn't they actually do that to German SS officers, soldiers? They gave them something that made them go fucking lunatic and fight like hell. Because drugs have been about a lot longer. I'm only learning about the opium wars, where we were buying shitloads of tea out of China, and we wouldn't get anything back, so we flooded the fucking place full of opium and give them an epidemic. And when they fought back, then we had a war with them. But anyway, I mean, when you put a person into any war, I can't imagine anybody coming out normal. I knew a guy who we grew up with, and he was in the first Gulf War. And when he came back, he was skinny, a bit edgy, and they just get out of the car and just run for 2 miles and then stop. I mean, fuck knows what the kind of team.
I work in comms, so I work with loads of military. So I don't really get the same sort of like, you know, but then again, I've never quizzed them, but I have got various sort of like guys who, because I'm near a base like where I am in Swindon, and they're all coming into the gym in the morning, and I just call them now. I just go straight away, the mafia. That's what I call them, like, just to degrade them somewhat, like, just to say, look, guys, what you're doing now is not good.
Can you imagine being able to sleep at night after you go and order things to be done that are just not ethical? But
a lot of these people, though, they don't realise what they're in, because the thing is that I think for some of us that have looked at the 3 years and sort of like then looked back on our history and thought that, oh my God, it's all just complete nuts. And when you get onto books of the millionaires, the billionaires, the Huxleys, etc., of their antics back in the 30s,
DuPonts, Rockefellers, Rothschilds,
all them, all of them.
Harrimans,
So all
the Bush dynasty, they're all there. And
Rockefellers, but yeah,
well, Rockefeller were the one that got into medicine a lot, weren't they? After they were selling their petroleum, and it was because of the medicine that we find ourselves in.
Just pure, just when you look at it on another level, that these people just want to make money and they don't care how they want to make money.
They don't associate with your feelings or they have no idea how to put themselves, nor do they want to put themselves in the position of a person who lives day to day, week to week, money wise.
They're built into wealth. They've never had friendships on the ground level, sort of like, being treated like dirt, because they've never had a bad upbringing or whatever, because they've been brought into wealth.
It's a bit like you see the films of the kings and queens in the old days sat in a carriage going through with all the poor looking in. They can't even imagine what it would like to be like the poor. Do you reckon? Can you imagine Prince Charles getting up in the morning and scratching around and get a fucking enough Rizzler for a skinny burn?
There you go.
Yeah. What we're gonna have for food, love? I don't know. We ain't got anything in. All right, you'll have to go down to fucking Co-op and get something. Well, I better check what change I've got because I put the last of it in the meter. You really see him doing that, can't you? No idea.
There you go.
But
they're
somebody will
blown up into a world that does not exist for themselves. It's just pure hypocrisy.
I wouldn't want to live in their world. And I know people will go, oh yeah, you say that. I wouldn't. Nobody around you's honest. Nobody around you's decent. Nobody around you's genuine. Everybody's after what you got. You don't know who you can trust because you can't trust anybody. And everybody below you hates you. Well, unless they're fucking stupid. And everybody around you is telling you what you got to do. Otherwise, they're going to release information on you. Fuck that.
Like there is something that could be changed. I don't know whether it can, but when I went to work in my early years in the 90s, when you went into work, there was not so much of a hierarchy.
Mm-hmm.
You respected your elders, but you could still take the piss. And they let you take the piss, and they had fun with you taking the piss.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas now, it's
you could only go so far,
yes,
otherwise they give you a slap, kind of thing.
Well, they won't give me a slap because I still act by those rules that I don't care.
Right.
So for me, having that attitude, I just want others to sort of like wake up to say, look, we can be like this. It's just that you've chosen to take orders.
By the way, I'm just watching you talking now on live stream.
Yeah.
And I'm watching Facebook, and it's subtitling everything. I didn't know it did that. So that's fucking weird. Sorry, just thought I'd mention it. Sorry.
As long as we don't go out of order, don't they?
Yeah. Start talking about lumps of wood and shit like that. No.
But no, the thing is that I think like yourself, like this is why we're on channels like yourselves, is we all want change. How we find the change, I don't know. I know that sort of like, I'm pretty sure that that's what you want, and that's what all these listeners want. We all want change. We all want a better life. Hated to, do we? And certainly this malarkey with how we've been taking the piss as of now with electric companies, utilities, all that malarkey. This all has to change. I know there's
people are too lazy, too comfy, too scared, too dumb.
Well, it is, but the thing is that we know where this agenda goes. That the agenda goes to absolutely rinse us of nothing, and that's why.
That was his plan. You'll have nothing, and you'll be happy.
Absolutely.
But who's he to tell me that I've got to lose everything because he says so?
Ooh. Yeah.
And how is it these evil bastards live so fucking long? In any normal
Let it-
country or any normal
Yeah, but
world, most of them would be dead by now. So
the
how is
thing
it
is,
that the Kissingers of this world live so long, the Soros of this world live so long, that other fucking Klaus Schwab prick, and many other like it? How do they live so fucking long? They're evil bastards.
well, because then they like the hundreds of years that may have gone on previous to us or whatever that may be. You know, they've learned about nutrition. They've learned that, you know, maybe there is a vaccine out there that's that all singing, all dancing stuff that will, you know, do the things to whatever's inside us, our genes. At the end of the day, you're not going to get that from the medicine they're giving us.
No, I
You know,
try not to go to the doctors as much as possible.
no, I'm not. I've since this has happened, the wake up call for me. No,
I used to
I do not want to see that doctor ever again.
I used to be on happy pills. I was on them for about 18 years, and I was worse on them than I am now, right? But that was just me.
Yeah, so I got given them at 18. I was going for a little bit of a bad patch, but to be honest with you, I was on for 2 weeks, and literally, as soon as they went inside me, that I knew they were doing shit, man. I was just like chucked them in the bin. I was like, sod that.
I've been through
So
all of them because I was fucked. And to be honest, I was more erratic on them and more up and down on them. The lows were worse, the highs were worse, and all the rest of it. And you look at the description, and it can do this, and may make you suicidal. It says that, and I'm like, why am I taking these? Anyway, I tried to get off them a few times. It got worse because I've been on them so long. And in the end, I fucking slogged it out, got off them, and I've been off them for years now, 2 years or something like that, maybe longer. And I went to the opticians yesterday to get a test because you should do every couple of years or whatever. It's been 3. And she went, "You on any medication?" I went, "No, I'm not. I'm on fuck all." And I felt quite good about that because I don't know how many people these days could actually say that they're not on medication. Actually, no, I'm not going to ask people to tell me if they are or they're not. It's personal. But
no, I'll tell you something, right? Yeah, and this just for listeners as well, right? Yeah, I live with 20 years of psoriasis, and
it's brutal, that
it,
stuff as well.
it was bad. I got it from a football injury when I was 18. I weren't looking after myself, and I was going through a little bit of a stressful life. And then this psoriasis came on through the football injury. Just basically like going out on the piss after I'd like gone in for a tackle and basically not washed after the tackle, like
Yeah.
after the game, gone out on the piss. What happens the following week? I'll go onto the pitch, do the same similar sort of tackle. I'll knock off the tissue that like been forming, and basically like back to square one. 3 days later, psoriasis all over me.
So have you
and
managed to get it under control now?
listen to this, got rid. So
How did you do it?
Yeah, listen. I spent 15 years under the NHS, and each year that progressed, so I had kids sort of like in between this as well, and so 15 years under this NHS, and each year I'd have to go and have this light treatment, which is basically like just having a couple of weeks of having sun,
Mhm.
yeah, because I have cold winters. Anyway, 15 years passed, and this was just getting worse, and my kids were getting a little, well, I'd had my second kid at this point, and I'd been abroad, and this psoriasis at this point on my second kid was not clearing up, and my skin was looking purple. It was just like, it was bad. So anyway, I come home, I went to see the consultant. The consultant said, "Oh, you've run out of light hours." I've done 200 hours of this light treatment over the 15 years. He said, "We can't give you any more." I says, "All right, well, don't worry about it." I says, because I'd already researched online, because we've got the internet at that point. I says, I'd already researched it. I says, probably won't see you again anyway. And what I'd gone and done, I bought myself a juicer.
Right.
And what I did, I started doing green juice. So spinach, cucumber, apple, pineapple, in this juicer, and it basically makes a green juice. And I've sort of like improved it over the years. Anyway, within 3 months, started seeing the healing going on my skin. So where sort of like I was probably 8% of like the body in full red tissue, like basically I started to see this sort of like these lesions go down and down and down. And give it 6 months.
How's the scarring doing?
There's no scarring.
Well done.
And I've got complete olive skin now. Complete olive skin. And when I go out
get
in the sun,
I get eczema, and I think it's stress.
Yeah, well, it's stress, but so there's two things, right? Yeah, it's like once you get the juice in, it's nutrition, you see.
Yeah.
And that's all it's about. It's like basically like when I look back 18 years ago, like I was on a diet of like tinned fucking soup. Whereas now, I'm having green juice, avocados, and all these, and fish oil. Really important, a good fish oil. I saw that massively once I started introducing that sort of stuff, and that's all it is. It's just nutrition. So with the eczema as well, like get yourself a juicer, put all those ingredients in, have a couple of juices through the day, and you just see it like your nutrition has improved because you're getting the fluids straight into the bloodstream. So yeah, that's all I can suggest. But basically, I was 80% coverage. I'm now completely clear of that thing, psoriasis. I don't have to see a doctor. I don't have to have any medication. And I never saw that consultant again.
Which pissed them off because they lost a customer.
They lost the customer, but it weren't just that. I lost faith when this scenario happened 3 years ago. I was like, what are you trying to say? Like when Hancock came on, I was like, you absolute bellend, because I knew where they were going with it. And I thought, this is it. They're after new customers.
Do you remember the guy? Is it Chris Whitty? Why did he look like Mr. Burns? Is it me? I mean, you look at him and he looked like Mr. Burns. Smithers released the hounds. He looked like him. Anyway.
I think anyone looking back on that now, it's like the people must have been so fearful that they'd have took anything.
To be honest, there was a time when I was fucking a bit and ahhing about it. But anyway, look, mate, I'm gonna have to get on to the next one because we've been on a while. All right, but good to hear you got that one sorted, mate. All right, and I'll speak to you in a bit. All right.
Thank you very much.
No worries, mate. See you in a bit, mate. I'm fucking knackered. I have no idea why. Oh, there I am. Hello.
Hello.
Hello. How is it?
Hello, mate. This is the Lego man.
Oh, mate, how you doing?
I'm all right. I've just heard a couple of things about the Churchill. You know, people are angry about him and stuff. But you know what? I'm from Poland, and even though I'm from Poland, I know he did the right thing.
Right.
He just actually prevents Stalin to take over the rest of the fucking world.
They were a bulwark against Bolshevism. That was the whole point of sending. That was the whole point, actually. Allegedly, some people financing Hitler, but Stalin.
No, I know.
Stalin wanted to go around the world with communism, didn't he?
Yeah, exactly. And Churchill just gave him a part, unfortunately, Poland and half of the Germany, you know, and other countries. And but you know, he just had a good idea. He just really had a good idea, because otherwise, then the war that has stopped at that time will continue. So I had a really heated discussion with one of the British persons, and he was saying that, you know, Churchill, yada, 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 yada. And then from my perspective, even though we're suffering for 45 years, you still have the communism close, you know, in the Belarus and the Russia and China and all of those fuckers, you know.
I mean, I've got to be honest. I wish things had worked out differently and Russia had pushed back to its original borders. But that would have been nicer. You know, because we ended up in Cold War with the fuckers for 40 years, and it's cost us, well, was it 40 years longer than that, wasn't it? what was it?
45.
40, yeah, 45 till 89. It's a few
Yes,
years.
exactly.
It's
In
40,
Gdańsk,
44 years.
that started. That's where it started.
Yeah, I remember him saying there has been an iron curtain descend across Europe from Trieste in the Adriatic to something in the Baltic. Oh, I've got that wrong. I usually do, but I remember it because he gave the speech in a school gym over in America. And that was for us the
Yeah.
start of the Cold War. And then we were doing the Berlin airlift because he thought he could get all of Germany, all of Berlin, I should say. But he didn't. But yeah, I wish things could have been different because I'd like to have seen how Poland could have done had they have not been under communism.
Oh, mate, you probably will emigrate to Poland for work, mate, just like I did to United Kingdom.
Mate, I mean, I was speaking to the Romanians at the moment. They said, well, you know, we came over here, we bought a house, we had a house over there. He said, but it's now that the money is not what it was and the reward isn't what it was. And, you know, I think there are some that thinking about going back. I don't know.
No, it is different. It is different. But only thing I'm worried about is if, don't get me wrong, I'm not just kind of a mad Trump kind of a person or kind of far right, as they used to call us. I'm just kind of sensible man. And if the Britain pick the Labour Party, I'm just packing my shit and getting back to my country, really, because what they're saying is just, oh my God.
And you can be sure that they'll get in. I mean, I hate to say it, but it goes X amount of years under Conservative and then Labour get it for X amount of years. And I just can't see them not getting in. And that worries me. What I always put it right, the difference between Labour and Conservative is you have a slow, agonizing death or a fast, fucking miserable death.
But you know, if they take over, is that going to be Klaus Schwab taking over the Britain? Really?
Tell me, mate. I mean,
yeah.
Will they try and sign us back into the European Union, and this time even under worse conditions than we were? Will we have to literally suck on the cock of the EU and be its little fucking whipping boy for however long because we had dared leave? And then we'll have to take on all their rules because don't forget, had we not have left, they would have had us sewn up under much stronger rules. We'd have lost our what they call it, where we govern ourselves and we have our own. I'm tired at the moment, sorry, but yeah, they wanted to basically take away every country's independence, their own governance. He wanted to take instead of us doing our politics through Westminster, that was just going to become a museum, and everything was going to be done through Central Europe and
in Brussels.
Yeah, basically, all remnants back to our history would be destroyed, and we would just be this one fucking great socialist state.
So what is the difference between Brussels and Moscow? None. Absolutely none.
Nothing
you know,
at all.
I remember that. I lived in the country that was governed by Moscow, you know, and I know exactly how it is. And I know exactly how it is.
And the word I was looking for was sovereignty. Thank you, everybody, for pulling that one out, because I couldn't remember the word for fuck all. Apparently I'm a Khazarian Jew. That's nice. It's nice to know, you know.
Oh, really?
Apparently, yeah.
Okay.
I've just been told.
Good for you.
It's nice to learn these things. I've learned so much about myself in the comments of my live streams. I find it amazing. It's great. It's like picking up the pieces and sewing it all back together. It's like, so I've been everything from MI6, MI5, GCHQ, Foreign Intelligence, CIA, and then what was it? What was the Jewish ones? I was them. Then I was a Jew.
Oh, Mossad.
Yeah. Then I was. So I've just been everything. It's great. It's lovely.
You're very famous, mate.
Synagogue of Satan.
You know what?
Apparently, I'm
not
that as well.
Taking you more time. Good to talk to you. Keep doing what you're doing.
No worries, mate.
This is the Lego man.
Yeah, well, Lego man, keep your chin up, and mate, if Labour get in, don't fuck off. Stay about for the crack. We'll have a laugh.
yeah. I'll burn my fucking shed.
We'll all be on fucking benefits then anyway.
And laugh at it.
Yeah, totally. But by the way, if it does go Pete Tong, yeah, we might end up all living in fucking Poland in the end when it goes so fucking wrong over here. I'll be killed anyway.
It's my home city, mate. My doors are open. I have a home in there.
Cool.
So you every time, if you need to, you're welcome.
Fuck it, I might need to escape at some point. I was going to go over there for the Independence again because I liked the last one.
Yeah,
actually,
it was really organized. Yeah.
Hang on, I'm going to show you a picture actually because I've only just found it again. Hang on, now I've got, you know.
Well, I can't see it because I'm talking to you over the phone and I switched the fucking computer off. So just to have a chat with you.
Well, what I'll do is, if you
I bet it's all right.
If you go back, you'll be able to see this. But I'll try and dig it up a second. Where is it? It was me with some Polish bloke. Where the fuck did that go?
And you know what they call this? You know what they call this in United European Union? A fascist march. Fascist, the country that was most fucking destroyed by Germans. They call this fascist march.
Yeah, mate. I remember they came out to greet us because I had the armband on, and Antifa said you shouldn't wear that. But by the time I got back, that Antifa had been adjusted by the Patriots, so they weren't there.
Yeah,
which is nice.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah. So when you rewind it back, you'll see me with some apparently Polish royalty. Yeah, I think that was a bit of a joke, but yeah, I was right at the head of this fucking. I got pissed, and then I went onto the wrong march. I was on the original march, and I joined somebody else's and went for a fucking lap there as well. It was great. Had a full time.
Well, mate, see you later. I love
all right,
you.
Mate. You take it steady, all right, buddy?
Keep doing what you're doing, mate.
All right, see you in a bit.
Bye.
Mate. Fuck me, it's hot in here. Should have opened a fucking window today. Never mind. Are we suggesting that there's crinkle in the comments somewhere? And if there is, hi Crinks. Was thinking about getting you onto Rumble with a load of others, but I don't know if I've got the fucking energy if I'm going on, to be honest. What is the time? It's only 9:30. Jesus Christ. So what do we got? Dave Kelly's in the house. Who else is in the house? I was going to ring up Dave from Glastonbury. Him and his missus are taxi drivers, and he always keeps saying he's going to ring in, and he doesn't. So I was just going to ring him actually, but nobody's given me his number yet because they don't want him to have this unexpected call. But there you go. One day you will ring in, mate. I'm sure of it. Anyway, nice one. Right, so let's have a look through the comments. What we're saying. There you go. Good evening. Evening. Hello. Can you hear me?
Sorry, right. Okay, fine.
Cool. Lovely. How's it going?
That's good. Yeah, I'm good. I have phoned in before, about 2 or 3 years ago, and just sounded a bit drunk when I was phoning, but you and Bass was on there.
Yeah, well, don't worry. I was probably drunk then, so I wouldn't notice. So it's fine.
Nah, it's cool, man. Anyway, what I want to say is really appreciate what you're doing because a lot of people do listen and don't say anything. We just watch, and I think you and even Based and I do care about people.
It's the only reason we do it. What would be the point otherwise? There's a lot of people that do this for different reasons, but I do it because I'm bothered about things and want to see what other people think.
Oh yeah, I'm a bit. Most people are a bit scared to speak out because there's so many people that are asleep, if you like.
It does. You do lose a lot of people will stop speaking. You lose people off Facebook. So, hi Henry. So it does have a profound effect. A lot of the people that I may have hung around with before when I wasn't aware of what was going on.
No, you might save lives. You know that.
I know I saved some for sure, and I can name them.
Yeah.
But the unknowing ones is the ones that.
It's what we call the silent majority, I think. Anyway, for the older listeners or people listening into you tonight, if you remember Max Headroom.
Yeah, I remember that.
If you're live and you're actually like on the time live.
Mm-hmm.
And you know on the keyboard on your computer, you've got like a back one where you can go back and it goes back about 5 seconds.
Yeah.
If you press the forward one when you're actually live, it make you sound like Max Headroom.
Oh, I could do this actually. Right. What we got?
You try it.
I could just do that.
Yeah,
or that.
If you got a button for it, yeah.
What else we got?
What do we got? Yeah.
They're all there. And this is for when I've had too many yeah, guys there. So, but yeah.
Oh, what do you call a profanity button?
Yeah, I've got that, and I've managed to try and get some of the old sound effects off that onto this, but it's like,
Are you retarded?
it's always a good question. We got that. What else have we got? Anyway,
Okay.
yeah.
Do you remember Warren Mitchell, Alf Garnett?
Sorry, mate, couldn't do that. Yeah, Alf Garnett. I should actually get some of that on here. One of his speeches.
What he came out with was, I've been under Labour, and I've been under Conservative, and I've been poor under every bloody one of them.
Isn't it? It was true, isn't it?
Yeah.
Fuck it.
You know, it's like there's no winning. I don't know.
You see, the thing is, as you start going off, I can put that on. I've been under Labour, I've been under Conservative, and let me tell you, I've been fucked up the arse in all of them, and not once was I given any roses. Anyway.
Didn't even get a reach round. Yeah, whatever.
Yeah, no, not a single time did I get appreciated. It was fucking terrible, it was. So that's actually more like the sound of my plant, but that's not me that does the voice for him. But yeah.
I mean, you work hard. You drive your truck and all that. And it's, like I say, even if you're doing that from a cab or whatever, it's appreciated.
I'd love to have more hours in a day, wouldn't you?
And there's a few other people. There's like Max Eigen or whatever does a Crow House. And things like that. Who, like you, the voices of fucking sanity, reality, whatever. I wouldn't go as far as sanity, but I mean, it's a voice that needs hearing, definitely.
Yeah, I mean, I've got to find some new people to subscribe to and watch their stuff because I've probably been unsubscribed from a lot of people because I was unsubscribed from my own stuff. So that tells me.
Yeah, this is it. No, I don't subscribe. I don't make comments. I don't register. I'm not registered with anything. This is a pay-as-you-go chuck away. So, you know, I don't put my head above the parapet.
Well,
which is what I told my son at school, because he's going to go through this. He's 15 now, but he's going through school and that. And is you're there to learn, but don't put your head on the parapet.
With the school, if you want to do well, unfortunately, you've got to roll with the system. Otherwise, you'll end up fucking up because, like the daughter said, she said there was the right answer, the wrong answer.
You don't put your head on the parapet. You don't fight it. You just listen to what they say and make your own judgment.
Basically, and then when you come out of that, try and forget all the cancer they taught you.
And he was at school, and apparently they had a Black Lives Matter bloody presentation. And he just switched off and started reading his book, and he got told off for reading a book instead of listening to some. Yeah,
you're not being indoctrinated. Be indoctrinated. That's pretty much what they are.
Apparently the guy was whinging about how he worked behind a bar, and the black guy got his hair frizzied up or something. It's like, no, fucking grow up there, mate.
Who cares a shit?
Jesus, you'll be by some woman. It's like, you know, women do get pissed.
Yeah,
they do stuff.
I mean, at least a woman actually paid you some attention. There's blokes out there that like that. Not saying me.
The hair on his head, obviously.
Yeah, it's like, oh, you touch my head. That's racism. Well, actually, I probably want to see how it feels. But, you know, probably should have asked you.
What are we going to do when he goes to the barbers?
Well, if you've got fucking lumps of hair like that, I suggest they're not going to do a great deal with that, are they? I mean,
but the thing is, who paid for it? And my question behind all of this is, who pays for it all? Now, if I wanted to emigrate to Africa or whatever, anywhere else,
be on your own.
I couldn't carry enough food. I couldn't carry enough food with me to walk there, and I couldn't afford, because of what we have to go through in bills and everything, to actually pay for the fare to get there. So, who's paying for it? Who's paying for all the gay pride stuff and the posters? And
well, if the council have got to put on or allow a march to go through, I don't know.
They don't have
Who,
to. It's
who,
because
who
religious
pays for the
GP.
roads to be shut? I don't know that answer. Maybe the comments might. Then if there has to be policing, somebody has to pay for that.
Well, of course.
But, you know.
But, it's... yeah, I understand what that. I mean, it should basically be, you shouldn't be income tax, you shouldn't be value added tax, it should just be sort of council tax and pay for what you use.
1 second. Something is a chance, mate, but Simon knows more than he talks about. Yeah, this is true. There's a lot that I can't say, and I think I've probably spoke to somebody, but I'm just reading the comments here. There's a lot I can't say. Simple as that. Rev, you got to.
But you couldn't actually afford. I can't afford to do these things. I can't. It's go to a wedding or a funeral or something. It's a big expense, and I'm on the. Everyone is pretty much on the building, just about paying the rent.
Hang on, Rev, you've gone to the dark end. We need more fun. Fuck it. All right, I'll try to do that. I tell you what, if you want fun, I'll get fucking Crinkle on it, mate. So, but yeah, I mean, going to these marches, right? Have you ever? One thing I did notice is when I went to London is they've got so many marches on different days of the week all year round. Believe it, fucking loads of them. Even Crinkle on here will admit how many marches are on a day in London for all different things. It's unbelievable. But the taxpayer will pay for the policing of that. But it's our right to protest, or was our right to protest. And if there are protests, then they have to be policed. Not Crinkle, not Crinkle, not Crinkle. No, you see, Crinkle, you're already starting. You see that they don't want you on it. I don't understand why.
You mentioned his name, you see.
I did. Well, actually, he was probably hanging around under a fake account, right? Or not a fake account, just another account. And I said Crinkle 3 times, and he is here. So there you go.
Isn't that like you say something 3 times, they appear from a horror film?
I think that was Beetlejuice, wasn't it? I said that 3 times and up he popped. I don't know. I never watched the film, but I did it. Yeah. Bring back common sense. Apparently, that's far right. Is it far right to be common sense? Apparently, you're not allowed to do that.
I've got no idea. To be honest with you, I don't know anyone that's far right. I don't know people that are far left. I mean, I don't really know many people. But if somebody is saying stuff I don't really agree with, or that isn't right, and I won't hate them for it. I will just not want to listen to them. I just sort of like,
Well, that's the thing, isn't it? If somebody's saying something you don't like, you don't have to stay and listen, do you? It's a bit like.
Here's the thing: it's all reactionary.
There's a lot of people on YouTube I don't want to watch what they do, so I don't watch it. I don't have to watch it. They're within their rights to say whatever it is they're thinking, as far as I'm concerned.
It's reactionary. I feel about myself, like, I had a bad accident. I was in coma for a month or whatever, and then after a couple of weeks, they put you in isolation, and you sort of come out. Obviously, you're getting weaned off the old drugs and that.
Yeah, opiates are a bit of a cunt to get off, aren't they, if you've been on a while?
Total sort of fantasy land, or from being totally unconscious to being sort of dreamland. But it seems very real. And after a while, it dawned on me that although I thought I was on exercises with a TA, or I was under a bridge, or I was in a bed and breakfast in Bristol, or whatever, it really dawned on me to stop saying anything and just watch and try and make sense of it.
What was it? A wise man is a man that says nothing and watches everything.
Well, I don't want to hear somebody talking to me about something they saw on the television.
I'll tell you a story. It's very quick. One of the pubs I used to go to in Weston had closed down. Anyway, it got raided the other day with £1 million worth of street value weed growing in it. So we're all like, fucking hell. Anyway, not yesterday. Day before, I'm on this fucking cross trainer, right? And I'm listening to the bloke there's a woman, she's pretty, right? Not my type, but she's very pretty, right? And this bloke's got on, right? And he's doing his best to chat her up. And he admitted he was an electrician that had been led into this premises blindfolded from a distance, right? Put in a car, blindfolded, and let in with his tools. Pay 500 quid to sort the electrics out. And it was only when he was in there did he realize how into it he was, because he said there was plants as far as the eye could see. Now he's giving away all the details about this criminality he'd been up to, plus his mates being on gear and all the rest of it. And on cross-training, I just thought, I want to lean around to him and say I'm a copper, just to wind him up, because I think his arse would drop out of his body. But when you think about giving away all that criminality and all those details in an open place like that, you think about loose lips sink ship back in the 30s and the 40s, didn't you?
Yeah, my granddad was on the convoys.
Yeah. So people like this bloke would have been a fucking nightmare, just giving away everything. Just fucking idiot. But it was funny. Yeah, I couldn't believe it.
The thing is, like, we're survivors, and what our forefathers were, and that's why we're here. And I think when people have just lost touch, and too many people just watch the television, believe the crap. Do you remember not the 9 o'clock news?
Yeah. Was it the not the 9 o'clock news that did I like trucking?
Yeah. Did you know that Ron Atkinson was driving a truck because he was the only one that had an HGV license?
Yeah. I like the hedgehog.
Even back then.
I like
trucking. Yeah, he's you won't go anywhere, yeah. But yeah, there's all kinds of things very relevant. But one of them was I did the phoning. And we got people phoning in for the BBC, phoning whatever thing, point if you've got crap, whatever. And yeah, I think the BBC's brilliant. I think the £35 licence is too low. I think it should be worth £400 and all this sort of thing. And then somebody phoned and goes, I think the BBC's a load of crap.
Yeah, and then it got aired on the BBC, which is kind of ironic.
I'll take a screenshot of it, and that's now my screensaver. I think the BBC's a load of crap.
Well, I did like not the 9 o'clock news, but how many of them are gone now? I mean, Griffrey Jones is still alive, but what was the other one called?
Mel Smith.
Yes, I can't remember his fucking name, but anyway, he's brown, bro. Mel Smith, that was it. Yeah.
And Bird that went out with the Scottish guy.
Do you remember Smith and Jones? I thought he was fucking shit. Well, I thought it was great. And they'd sit opposite each other with a black background. And one of them would pretend to be thick, and the other one was pretending to be the intelligent one. Do you know, I've had a lot of people in YouTube who want to do that sketch with me, but I've got to be the thick cunt.
This fat belly, they go bigger fat belly, and they're going to go for a double.
And he's gone for the triple. Oh, he's got a pint. He could have done without that. Yeah, I remember that one.
And, you know, it's up.
Oh, he's pulled it back.
Yeah. But I mean, yeah, some of this old stuff is absolutely fantastic.
Here we go. We got a Crinkle saying you're reminiscing about TV, yet criticise people who watch TV. Termination.
And she goes, "Oh, how long have you been since you conceived?" Or whatever. She looks at a little 6-year-old boy picking his nose or whatever. He goes, "Oh, how old are you?"
Yeah,
you know, it was 193 months.
Yeah, he's that age. Anyway, mate, I'm going to jump off. Get on to the next one. See who's ringing in.
And I appreciate what you do. And my son is actually watching this now while I'm in the other room. But like I say, you play it back. I do sound a bit more drunk than I am. All right.
Hey, all right. Anyway, catch you in a bit. All right, buddy.
All
right.
Thanks a lot, man.
See you a bit, mate. Yeah, Crinkle. People are criticising people about watching the TV now, but we believe it was nowhere near as bad back then. That's what it is. Hello.
Hey,
oh, let me guess. The boat hasn't sunk, and you're a bottle and a half in. Am I right?
2.5.
Fucking ideal. There you go. So my estimation of your drinking levels was the same as fucking what's his name's
this weekend, for fuck's sake.
Yeah, all right, fair one. But yeah, so what state of terrible are you in at the moment then, mate?
I'm all right. Have you seen the new DVLA rules and regulations as regards mobile interactions whilst you're driving?
No. When did they come out, and what does it change? Like, you can't speak
May, and if you even look at your fucking phone, you're gone.
Right. When you say look at it, the phone's on the side. Just look over like that, or pick it up.
No, look at it. All our trucks have had the phone holders moved to the side, so you can only see them from the passenger seat.
fuck it. Mind you, if you put a camera in your truck, you're a fucking dick, right? If I had to go and work
Well,
for somebody that
we've
had
got
cameras,
cameras on. I'm just like, I just turned around to him and went, look, I went, you want to put a camera in this truck? If you see something that's offensive, I'll just move on to the next job anyway, but I will offend the fuck out of you.
personally, I just stick sellotape over the cunt until I finish my shift. Sorry, mate, I don't know what's wrong with the camera.
No, I'm just going to leave it there. Just have a few nights out.
I will put something over it because I've got to do YouTube and I don't want them watching what I'm doing. So,
well, for you, yes, but I'm just going to offend the fuck out of them. I'm going to make them look at the videos and go, I am.
well, just like you sat there with the curtains drawn, wanking yourself blind, wanking furiously. And, while mind you, it's saying that after a certain amount of hours, they should be watching anyway. But there's you thrapping away, smiling at the camera. Yeah, I should imagine that'll put somebody in the counselling.
Damaged. But yeah, America in Syria, they're kicking off right now. We're getting down to some serious stuff. They're still holding on to the oil refineries in Syria and trying to stop Assad and just generally fucking Syria up.
Sorry, I've had somebody ask me to reply to his comment, but I can't find the fucking thing. How far back was it?
And then I mentioned something before when we were in Discord before. I went to find it. It is gone. I mean, totally fucking removed.
Was that fucking tweet?
The DFDS thing about moving EVs onto and off of their ferries, and it was on one of the wagon driver forums, and it's gone. It's just been removed.
Fuck knows.
Now,
mate.
this was something you get at the dock, saying if you are carrying this, we don't want you.
What, like batteries, explosives?
Yeah, if you're carrying damaged EVs that have had still have the batteries on board.
Well, what you do is you tow them behind the ship in the seawater, and that seems to fix them.
They're really freaking out about it. Because I mean, you think cross-channel ferries, how many vehicles go on and off of that a day?
Why would you transport a damaged one? Out of interest.
The Polish, and I love the Polish to death. Don't get me wrong, but back in the day, and from ever and a day, they've been coming over here and picking up slightly damaged vehicles and taking them back to Poland, getting them fixed, and then knocking them out.
Well, okay. Yeah.
And they've been doing it for years.
So
but
you can't take them on a ferry, and you certainly couldn't take them through the tunnel. So now what? How do they get them over there then?
I think that's a part of you're not moving second-hand EVs, because, like I said the other day, they're not selling. They're going through the block, and the dealers are looking at them going, don't want fuck all to do with that.
Well, the second-hand value of them has depreciated greatly because somebody's already had the best out of their battery, haven't they?
Well, that's it. I mean, Mac Master, a mate of Jeff buys cars. He's got a Porsche. When he bought the Porsche, they offered him about 10 grand on top of what he paid for or what the Porsche was worth,
right,
to move on, because they couldn't get cars for the people that wanted them. He recently went back, and his car has halved in value, and to get out of it, it would cost him about 20k.
Pretty much. I mean, the reason that the second-hand car value for petrol and diesel are the way they are is because the market doesn't have the faith in the battery cars. So it is what it is. I mean, to replace a battery in a Tesla, what sort of money are you looking at?
More than the car's worth.
Pretty much. So it writes the vehicle off then.
Yeah, and then you've got my this is going to sound bad. Underpaid Africans and like people third world that are willing to go and get this lithium out of there, out of wherever it is, with collapses and stuff like that. I mean, the video I've seen of them collecting
It's
this
not
lithium.
nice. It's not nice work, and
No,
basically the
no, it's
conditions
not.
are shit, and that's just to give us our batteries.
Yeah, it makes you feel less of a human looking at what they're doing to make all these.
But it's the elephant in the room that nobody wants to talk about. Now there is cobalt mined in America and places like that under much better conditions.
All these virtual signaling arseholes going, yeah, well, I'm saving the planet. Well, are you saving the planet with them children that are going in and into places that collapse on them and sometimes don't come out? How good do you feel about that? While you're saving the planet,
yeah,
arseholes.
You know, I've got people in the comments that I think they want to. We got Truth Searcher that wants. I don't know what he wants. He wants somebody else, and then you got somebody called Lee who wants to ask questions, but I didn't see him ask a question. So it seems that we've got quite a demanding set of comments at the moment. But mate, as for moving electric vehicles, fuck them. I don't want them over here anyway. So the fact that a load of them caught fire on a ferry, is that ferry sunk yet? Is it still afloat? Where is it?
They've moved it out the channel, and they're pouring water on the sides to keep it structurally intact.
Yeah, but that cools the plating down, but it doesn't cool the RSJs and the stanchions that go between, does it? And what temperatures are going to get up to in the center?
Hell.
I was going to say, because those batteries, they go off quite well, don't they? But they must have burnt through by now, the batteries.
Well, yeah, but what they're doing is they've moved it out of the shipping lane, and I think they're just going to let it burn out.
Probably. Right, mate, I'm going to get on. I'm probably going to wrap this up because I'm fucked. That's the truth. Yeah, it might do better if I opened up as a panel and let them all scream and shout at each other. Might keep me awake, but I don't know. Fuck knows. Anyway,
right. Crinkle, you're a knobhead.
Oh, there you go. Victimization. Right, I'll see you in a minute, mate. Bye. Oh, your petrol goes up quite well. Yeah, it does, but it's. Hello.
Hello, Si. How are you?
Tired, but how are you?
I'm not so bad at all. I was just trying to get through a couple of times there and very surprised I actually did.
Yeah.
It's
a bit of a nightmare, I'm told, so I do apologise. But yeah, I should make the call short, but whatever. Anyway, go on.
Not at all. I was just trying to think to myself, I'd love to join the conversation, but I'm one of the quiet people who has nothing to say. But perhaps in this world, maybe it's we quiet people who have to start trying to say something or other. And I thought what I could possibly ask about or try and make a conversation about is what makes the difference between people who see through the bullshit, as we're calling it, and what we're starting to call the normies, for better or for worse.
I think early on it was people that didn't like doing what they were told. You know, the people that didn't conform at school that got into trouble. Those people.
Yeah. Me and you both.
I was one of these that I was bored at school. I wasn't interested.
Looking out the window all the time.
Yeah, there was that. I was dyslexic. I went to a private school to begin with, and we were doing stuff like beautiful joined up writing, and we were doing
cursive writing.
What was the other stuff that we fucking? You know, the Romans, the language they spoke. Can't remember now. Fucking. But they were teaching us that Latin when we were in like 6 and stuff like that.
Conjugating verbs and stuff, yeah.
I forgot most of it, if not all of it by now. But when we got taken out of there because parents were skint, and I was fighting a lot with the posh kids because we had a Cortina and their Rolls Royces, and when they took the piss, I filled them in. So it didn't go well. Anyway, I went to a state school, and I had to wait about 2.5 years for everybody to catch up. And that's when the rot set in. And they got you to stop writing in the joined up writing sort of thing, and all the rest of it. It's shit. And basically, in my mind, I'd lost any interest then, and I never went back to being particularly interested. Some of the history was interesting. Humanities, the guy that did it just drove me mad because it was a raging lefty, and I didn't like him then. I didn't know that he was a lefty. I didn't know what it was about him. I didn't like. But there you go. So science was sort of interesting. Spanish kind of liked. It's French to start with, but yeah, one of these people that just generally wasn't interested. And if you told me it is so, I'd be like, why? Remember the kids that you say why of it? Why? Because it is. Well, that ain't fucking good enough. Why? And
so what's behind it?
You tell me I have to do this. I have to pay taxes. Why? Because everybody else does. That's not a good enough reason. You know. Well, what makes you so special?
Kind of like put off, but I know it's the Simon Show, but were we at that point put off? It was so simple to put us off an idea.
Yeah, well, it was for some, but I didn't abide by the rules. It got me in trouble. But I just like.
Yeah.
So you've set rules. I don't want to play by them. And they were rules that I didn't see just. Now they say you can't pick and choose. But who said that? People that want you to follow by the rules. No, I don't want people going out and murdering people and stuff like that. Don't like it. I don't like the idea of people thieving off each other. That kind of stuff. Sexual wrongness, all that kind of shit. No. But I personally think the government should have very little input, very small amounts of input. Get the country running and that's it. But just dictate it like the way it is. I didn't like it. But my dad was one of these that did the rules, followed the law, did everything. And he went, what makes you different? I said, I am. He said, you're not special. Well, clearly I fucking am because I don't follow the rules. We never got on in that respect. But he did everything by the book, paid his taxes, worked really hard, and he's been fucked over a stupid amount of times. And he's now no further forward than I am. And I'm a bloke that didn't play by the rules all my life. So
was it the same? Was it the same for you? It's not as if at that early age you have a great amount of knowledge about the real world, but you can just sense that it's like, what are we here?
I can see shit when I see it, and nothing makes sense. Lying. Yeah, you're like, that doesn't make sense. Well, that's just the way it is.
Yeah,
but no, that's not right.
Like, get in line. Get in line.
Yeah, just follow the rest of them. Just stop. You're being difficult. No, I'm not. So why is it we have to do this? Well, we always have, but that's not a reason.
It's the way it's done.
Well, why are you going against the system? Because I don't like it. And it was like, this one's going to be a problem, and that's the way it was. But
I suppose people are like I hate to say the people like us sort of thing, because it's all getting a bit collective where we try to choose words to describe ourselves as either truthers or this or that sort of thing. But the thing that pings out, I think, for me and for a lot of people who think like, I'll say us, we people, it's the lessons of history are blatant, and they're not, and they have been shown up to us, even the most ignorant. I was never a great student, sort of thing, but I could see that the difference between being told what to do and being allowed to, free thinking sort of thing, even at an early age. Most kids do, I suppose. But it's the idea that no one seems to see the relationship between the so-called lessons of history that they are the lessons of history, but we were supposedly taught, but probably not taught. They're staring us in the face in the same exact frame, the same logic is playing out.
Mm-hmm.
So hang on, this has happened before, but
well, that's it. When you start follow history, and you see the reasons they gave at the time, and then you see the reasons they give now, and they never say that we've revised it or we've learned that something different. They then try to tell you that what they're telling you now is what they were telling you then, but you've got a memory and you can remember it. Take, for instance, I give a few examples. Some of you may have remembered the Troubles. Now, I remember the reporting on the way they took out the IRA hit squad over on Gibraltar. And I remember the story changing then. I remember the story changing on other things that happened in England, abroad. And, you were like, but you've just changed on that with no... you know, there's no reason for this. You could have said, right, we were given the wrong information on that. Sorry, this is the truth. Well, what they generally did was revised it.
Fundamental things where you think it's not, the information keeps changing, as you say, but it's that if someone, if I was going to be so shallow to say the normies, they just take the information that's given and they go, okay, that's what's going on. But if someone, I keep on hesitating because it sounds like I'm, trying to glorify oneself, saying, well, I saw through it all the time, sort of thing. But it's like the fundamentals change. It's like, well, are we being this way or are we being that way? Are we being considerate or are we being damning? Or these sort of things, they seem to change. And it's now there's a hated group. And when did that start? That sort of thing.
Difficult time to be alive because you're being judged by everybody around you.
Say.
And you'll lose friends to a point, and then when they start coming around realizing they've all been fucked over and they start waking up, they'll slowly come back. But in the meantime, they've shit on you, pissed all over you, denounced you, calling you names. Fascist is one, isn't it, Crinkle? Numerous
like a railroad track.
Other things, and when they want to come back to you, you'd be like, maybe not. Dave Kelly. Dave, is that the one that you've got your YouTube channel? Just quickly, just asking.
Dave Kelly.
Yeah, I got one in the chat called Dave Kelly, and I'm just trying to remember because I go and watch some of one of this other guys at YouTube, and my name, I can't remember. Steve O'Gilmore, Fatty Rev. Yes, but the weight's coming off, son, and the missile's going back on. Yes.
Don't listen to them, mate.
No, I think it's great. I love being insulted because actually, it doesn't wind me up. It winds up some of the followers, but it's Mark Kelly. Oh, sorry, mate. Yeah, fucking sorry, Mark. By the way,
as long as it's not Luke Kelly.
No,
back from the dead.
By the way, saying that Henry porn bombs, Henry, you've never porn bombed me once, have you, mate? We've always had an agreement. We have. He's always we've talked, and he's never gone ballistic on my chats. I've let him finish.
Had a porn bomb agreement.
There is a porn bombing agreement on, isn't there, Crinks? No, what happens is he goes on to other people's, and when they just completely fucking give him shit endlessly, then he just porn bombs them. I don't agree in it, but that's what he does. It's about right, I think. Whatever.
Last resort of a desperate man.
Well, what is it they say when you've already lost or when you're losing the argument, you turn to insults? Similar sort of thing.
Yeah, pretty much ad hominem, as they say these days.
I've been trying to advise carnivore diet to you for fucking ages. Right? I am eating a lot of meat, by the way. So be pleased. Yes, I would never porn bomb you. See, Crinkle and I actually enjoy getting him on because even though we totally disagree on most things, he is fucking good entertainment for people. He is.
With veg.
Right, Lee.
Tail him up, man.
When you put a super sticker, Lee, that comes up high vis. When you're trying to send me a question or something like this, problem is, I'm talking, I'm typing, I'm checking that. It ain't easy, mate. You want to try being this end. Nathan Benson, hello. I think we might do a Carnage stream in a minute, but when we do, we'll all be going over to the other one that's running, which is, I think it's run, or is it? Yeah, it is running on Rumble, because that's the only way to deal with this. Who wants to come on a Carnage stream? Put one in the comments if you do. I'll just see how badly this goes.
Yeah, just don't tell him.
Don't tell him your name, Pike.
You're whispering as if no one can hear.
Yeah,
don't tell him, Pike.
No, don't tell him your name, Pike. Thing is, okay.
They don't like it up on.
They don't, sir. No. I'm just trying to work out how many people I can get on. By the way, Banksy, if you're watching, you've already got a link in Discord. I've also sent a link to Pap in Discord, to Winston Smith in Discord. If I'm doing a shouty angry stream, I'll probably throw a link to Mr. Grumpy because he'll love that. Won't you, Grumps? Yeah, I'm just trying to work out who I'm going to get on. Daft is in the house. Maybe even chuck him a link. What could go wrong? So yeah. So let me know if you want to watch a Carnage stream, and if you do, you're gonna have to go to Rumble. Put one in the sorry, because we've done the ones. Put 3 in the comments if you want to watch a Carnage stream.
You can't say nothing these days.
Yeah, well, you can't hear anyway. Fuck that shit. Or whether you want me to carry on, perhaps here. Fuck me, son. That didn't take you long, did it?
I believe I've been summoned.
What could go wrong, right? I'm a little bit tired, right? A bit snoozy. I've had a bit, and I think I need to get into some beer. But I could do with a bit of the weight lifting off, right? And I'm thinking about going on to Rumble and having a Carnage stream. Thinking.
I've not been drinking tonight. So I mean, I don't mind. I can go for it. I can have a bit of fun for the next couple of hours or so. I'm up for that.
What could go wrong, right?
Do it, guys, do it.
Who do you want to give into? Right, Q, if you're watching this, who do you want to give it to? I don't know. Because I've got to be honest, because once we get onto Rumble, I don't give a fuck anymore. I really don't. I mean, because they don't give.
I think you were holding back before.
I am holding back at the moment. Massively holding back. Rev, I've lost 2.2 stones in a month. Fucking well done, boy.
In a month? Fucking hell.
Yeah, stay healthy.
Sarah Jane,
2 stones in a month.
Here's the thing: when we don't vote, the Greens get in. When we do vote, we get ignored. So fucking, what do you do? Banksy's on his way.
I might just order some brandy now.
I would come, yeah, because I could just go to bed and leave you in charge. What could go wrong, right?
Well, I shouldn't be drinking. I'm wearing
what's that?
I've got ECG, portable ECG. I've got to wear till Monday, so drinking's probably not a good idea. But I'm gonna.
Oh God.
Yeah. Just let them know. Really, they'll notice the difference in the readings.
Sorry about the reading on Saturday night. Oh, this fucking idiot got hold of me, and what can I say?
Just one second.
Nothing.
Fuck I. Okay, so he's off to get that. Right, so we're going to get some people on the panel, and I don't know how badly this is going to go. And yeah, well, Grumpy's here. Yeah, well, look, mate, I would say call back in next week and air some more of your thoughts. And I'm now going to condemn the stream to carnage.
Carnage all the way, mate. Carnage all the way down.
Indeed.
Thanks for taking the call, Si. Respect to everyone, especially local Sheffield. Take it easy.
No worries, mate. You take it steady, all right? See you in a bit, but
good luck, lads.
Hi, Grump. How you doing?
How you doing, pal?
Not too bad. Got a camera?
Right.
Don't be shy. You have got your top on, haven't you?
I'm not going to answer that one, mate.
Yeah, because earlier on you were showing me your tits, which is fine because you know. Simon A saves this call number. We've got fridge and microwave. How are you, love?
Hello, mate. Hang on, let's turn this down.
More of your thoughts.
Yeah, I'm all right. Yourself?
Living the dream, as I do every fucking day. And if you believe that, I've got more. Right.
Oh.
Let me just go and try and get the link for Rumble because I think people are going to actually need this.
Yeah, it's nice to see Thingy on it. What's his name?
Hang on. Let me mute that. Right. All right. They're already starting to be over there waiting. Now, I'm going to put the link in the chat.
Yeah, there's, like you were saying, a lot of the thing up in Liverpool, and they've got the Ukrainians and the other lot that are tipping up. But if they're here, like you said, why aren't they fighting in their own country? That's what really gets my goat up.
Because they don't want to fight and die for a country because they don't believe in it that much. What they do believe in is virtue signaling and stood on a fucking box where a couple of little fanboys and fangirls will look up to them.
Yeah, and as you said, that thing about that kid, the young lad that went to school about such and such, right? I think, well, you know, if he wants to go, if he doesn't, won't they go? But they just keep chucking it on. It's like everything else. Everything you do now, you're scuppered, you know. You can't do anything now. It's like my brother's been waiting for his driving license 6 months now, just over a year. He had cancer and wait.
Hang on a sec. I've got to ask a question. Right. Does anybody else here have problems trying to get on Rumble? Because you should just be able to click the link and go straight in. You might not be able to comment. I don't know. I don't know about that. But we had 3 watching at the beginning, and I've said this, and now we've got 67. We've got Brody piling in. Oh, there we are.
Hey, Brody.
Kids in bed yet, mate? You know when they went quiet earlier on, were they trashing the place? He's
I think you do a good job, mate. You know.
Yeah, no, he said, "Oh, it's all right. The kids are quiet at the moment." I went, "If they're quiet, fuck you, check on them because they're probably trashing the place."
Yeah. See, what else is he good at? I mean, you said you're talking about the truck drivers getting mullered and all that lot, but they just can't get them. You go to some of the supermarkets and you think Sainsbury's, Lidl's is not too bad, Waitroses, but Tesco's are doing bigger milk cartons of bigger bottles of milk.
Mm-hmm.
You think, God Almighty! And everybody says, "Oh well, it's like you said, the battery cars in this country, especially in where I live, there's about 2, 4. I think I've seen about 8 electric charging points, and a lot of them are just. Whereas if a container ship goes up because they've got electric cars on the board, they really want to start thinking about what the hell's going on.
Well, in the old days, put them on top deck, get a bulldozer, push the cunts off. There's any problem in it. Happy days.
Oh yeah. We used to in the old days in the 80s. We used to go sea dumping off Norway, get all the old stuff that they had from World War II, and we used to go and chuck it over the side. And
I bet the fucking fishy men loved you when they used to shear their nets.
Sea dumping. I thought you was fucking talking about something else for a minute.
Yeah, like
I used to blow it up.
Well, they used to put barrels with fucking water that was or stuff in it that was nuclear off the bloody in the Irish Sea, around the Bristol Channel, well, on the outskirts of the Bristol Channel, up around Cornwall area, out towards Brittany and all that sort of stuff. You should fire it off there. Right, so we got 144 people watching. Right now, tell me this: are the people that are watching right? If you can comment in Rumble, tell me, are you watching it on both YouTube and Rumble? The reason I ask is that I've lost 30 viewers off here, and I've gained 158 there. There's nothing remotely weird about that, I'm sure.
No, I think you do a good job. And it's nice to put what's his name on the end there.
Right, we've got a few saying both, so that might explain something.
Yeah, I think the way the con. I mean, I'm right on Chessington, from Leatherhead to Chessington. They put the mega thing £12.50, and people just aren't going to be able to afford to go to work. You got Epsom Hospital, which is pretty in a town and all that, but rest of it, go to Addleston or all around there, you're knackered. It just wants to make more money out of it.
Yep. Right, look, mate, I'm gonna have to get on because I've got a panel now. I suppose I better speak to them since I've invited them. Otherwise, apparently,
okay, mate. I'll speak to you next week. So take care, mate. Have a good week.
See you in a bit, mate.
Bye,
Bye,
mate. Bye.
Bye.
Right. Right. On Rumble now. I'll just put that up just for a second. Just take the number down. Hello, Banksy. How are you, my dear? You're on a TV.
Good evening, gentlemen. Hi, Mom. I'm on TV.
Do you remember ever watching the film? What was it called? Fucking Weird Science. And just as they've connected the dole up for the second time, and it's all gone Pete Tong, the nuclear fucking weapons come up out the kitchen, right? And some kiddies ended up in the fucking TV in the front lounge.
They keep changing the channel, and the plane was coming at him. Yeah.
Mind you, when she walked out through that busted door,
dude.
I realized that moment, right? That was the definitive moment. I'd seen rude magazines that I wasn't meant to see and thought, how does she fit that in there? But I as I watched that woman walk out, I went, I want her. I don't know how to feel quite that strong. I mean, I wouldn't have known what to do with her. There wasn't a pube in sight or anything, right?
Oh, dude.
I just went, I want it.
Yeah, Kelly LeBrook. She was my childhood. And you know, there was another movie. It's called The Woman in Red, and she's in it. And there is
Yeah,
like
but
a split second. If you pause it at the right moment, you
Right
can
up at
see.
Chuff.
You can see Kat. So yeah.
Mortgage. Excellent.
But you have to believe me, it's really hard on a video recorder when you have to go forward and backwards.
Well, that's why you should get that in the picture because that was the moment that everybody paused to get the magic second of happiness. Moving on. And if you'd ever borrowed tapes that you, because if you've got an older brother, he always got hold of the porn, and you'd go and you'd be like, why is the tracking wrong on this fucking section? Then you realize that was their favorite section. Because if you got a magazine, there was some, we used to go at the quarry or at the woods or whatever, there'd be a magazine, and you'd be like, why are these pages opening? I had no idea. Honestly, because I wasn't at that stage yet. And I was like, why are they stuck? Oh, no idea. We'll move on to the next. And that was it. But that was you. Hey, you got yourself a lovely fucking lounge there, son. Lovely lounge.
Yeah, you moved yeah. Just decorated.
Oh, Crinks, right? I will shove you the StreamYard link in a minute, right? But we've got to go over to Rumble first because you're a bit carnage. All right. Right. I'll buy you whatever booze you like if you sing Broken Land. I love it. I've already sung it. I'll put the video on for you, but I don't want any booze.
Okay, I hope I'm better now. Some people said in the chat I was a bit too loud.
Were you?
I don't know. The chat was.
Don't be like that. This is an interesting guy. How you doing?
Good, thank you. Just a quick call. I'm having trouble getting onto Rumble.
Right.
And
when you click link, what's it do?
It's asking me to put my email in and my password.
What you mean you can't look at it unless you're a non-subscriber? I didn't realize that was the case.
I'm not too good with technology, to tell you the truth.
Okay, well, one of these might know.
No, I can see it, and I'm not logged in, so the link works. You don't have to be logged in to see it.
Are you a member, Brody? Are you a member of Rumble or not?
Yes, I am. I've just
that'll be why you can see it, right?
Yeah, but I'm not logged in, you see, so I've just clicked on the link and it still shows a video without.
No, then honestly, I'm not. I mean, even though I'm running all this lot, I'm still pretty useless. So I don't know.
Try a different browser. See if you can get logged in.
I'm sure.
Yeah, try a different browser or something, maybe.
I'm starting to think that you would get onto Rumble and be able to say more things that you'd be able to say on YouTube. Am I right?
Bet your arsehole. Yes.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So I'll have to work it out myself, but yeah, if we could. I've not heard Crinkle for a while, and I've not had a decent laugh.
His velvet tongues. Yes.
Yes, I'm due. I feel as though I'm due a good, decent laugh, at some point soon, hopefully. But there's, it's just not been happening. If we could get Crinkle on, that would be great.
Crinkle will be on, just for you and a few others, because I do believe that Crinkle every now and again needs to come on.
Yes. Well, Simon, listen, respect to you and respect to the rest of the gents, and hopefully I can keep up with this thing tonight, and have a great night, and thank you.
Well, hopefully it'll go all right. I'll tell you what, right? I've got a bloke lead. He says, are any of us going to talk about what's going to happen in the UK? Ring in. Not you, but this guy. He's saying, I'm watching Four Grown Men, and any of you is going to actually talk about what's going to happen coming in the UK. Well, right, there's 5 of us up there, but I won't hold it against you.
I think none of us knows what's going to happen, and there's that much shit coming from every angle you can think of, and it's just none of us knows really. But I think it's dark times ahead, really. And I think if you don't believe that, and there's lots of people out there, especially in the UK, that are blind and are just fucking sheep, and they don't believe any of this shit's going to happen. I think it is very dark times ahead, and it's very, very wrong. And I just don't know these people are just a different kind of animal than what I am. All these people that are
I'll
trying
talk
to.
more about this in a minute when I get over there, right? Because
it's not just the UK. It's
anyway, good stuff. Thank you, Simon, and respect to you, gents, and have a good night. And I'm going to try and keep up with this, and hopefully I'll be able to get onto Rumble at some point.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Just
good
click,
night.
just get the link.
Try using a VPN. That sometimes works.
Yeah, you might have a VPN, but otherwise, get the link and just go straight into, say, for instance, you've got Google, paste it there, see what happens.
Yeah.
I
think you need to narrow it down a bit. There's a lot of stuff going on in the country at the moment. So if it's something specific,
maybe you might ring in, but otherwise, it's not. Yeah, the problem we've got is we can talk about it, but there's only so much we can talk about. So there is. So what we're going to do in a minute is going to start migrating over to Rumble, where we'll carry on. As for Crinkle, how am I going to get a link to you, mate? Lee's chucked another super sticker. Thank you, Lee. I don't know how to.
If he's watching on Rumble, you can just post the link into the Rumble chat, can't you?
Right. Well, Crinkle, are you in Rumble? If so, can you text? Rumble's further behind than what we are at the moment, just so you know, and Twitter's further behind than that. Let's Rumble. Yeah, because we've got 364 here and 250 there. That's quite a difference. Oh well, I'm not suspicious. Nah, not ringing in, mate. It's Simon's chat. Come on, Lee. Come on. Yes, I'm in Rumble. Right.
There you go.
Okay. Why can't I just directly message him?
I see 245 in Rumble now.
Can I?
46.
I can do that.
247. Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, we're not doing bad considering. Right, she's the enforcer's seeing 250. Right. Now, do you any of you have a problem with us getting anybody in that we've all argued with before?
Your house, mate. Your rules.
Yeah.
What could go wrong?
What really
Everyone
could go wrong?
Bring them all.
Because to be honest, when we invite Crinkle in, all fucking eyes are on Crinkle, aren't they? Right? Bless him. Right, Crinkle. I'm gonna regret this so fucking hard.
Sorry,
no, you don't need
my ego can take it.
Right, Crinks.
I just want to chuck your link in the main chat.
Right, Crinkle, can you tell me if you're in my Discord? I don't care if you are or you're not. It's fine. You're more than welcome. If so, if you're in there, I'll message you. Well, you can message me or whatever in there rather than me blat it out straight in the comments and I get everybody coming in.
Yeah.
What could go wrong, right?
Might be a bit hectic then. Well, I mean, you just let the people you want on the panel, but I mean, yeah, it's going to get a bit complicated.
Yeah, I could
Yeah,
let
that's
Pat
what I'm
do that.
doing,
Knows
yeah.
how to get wiggle your nose and play with your ears, and I don't know. It's not so because I don't usually get people in. I don't know. So glad not modding Rumble. Hello.
Oh, hello there, Simon.
It's the voice that sounds like, but isn't quite.
Sorry?
It's the voice that sounds like the famous person, but not quite.
Oh, yeah, from the history guy.
Mm-hmm.
He was on Radio 4, apparently. He told us, forget what. Oh, the moral haze or something he was on. So he said. Anyway, on a personal thing, you always ask about that.
Yes.
I've had that cyst took off the side of my neck.
How did that go?
That went extremely well. The team at the Norwich University Hospital were excellent. 3 ladies, and they seemed to be all Carpenter fans because they had Karen Carpenter playing in the background. And by the end of the operation, which only took an hour, the nurses were there going, every sha-la-la-la-la, every
What size were these nurses?
Still shines.
What size?
I enjoyed them.
What a fucking question.
It's just right. Hang on a sec. I've got to let Henry in. Henry,
No.
we're going to till we get over onto Rumble, aren't we?
Yeah.
Cool.
I'm there, man. I'm there.
So you got some. They might be normal sized nurses. They might be bigger, but fangirling over a woman who died of cancer. Yeah, so it's fucking terrible. Anyway, well, look, I'm glad that you got yourself fixed. And is that it then? All done and dusted?
Oh, well, yeah, they're just slowly the healing on the side of the neck. It all went well. It's just got a scar on the side of my neck, which is slowly healing up as they do, and everything. If I go on to what's happening in the country, I was like most people shocked about what happened to Nigel Farage and that, and now we hear it's happened to Gina Miller. The same thing.
Hang on, but she was the other side of the coin, wasn't she?
Yeah, she was definitely on the other side. She was the one who was anti-Brexit, who wanted the tried to stop the government from going ahead with Brexit. But she can't. Her party, which she calls sort of the True and Fair Party or something. The True and Fair Party, I think that's probably not quite as bad as Hope Not Hate, calling themselves Hope Not Hate, because
Hate Not Hope,
it should
as
be
we
the other
call
way
it
round.
in the trade.
Hate Not Hope.
Yeah.
To be fair, we've got the Liberal Democrats, not Liberal or Democratic.
Yeah. Anyway, she's actually Nigel Farage just said the same thing. He said he feels that she should have a bank account.
Well, she should.
Everything. And he thinks that that's more important. He said on the one of them radio shows, he said he believes that she should have a bank account just as he would if they stopped Jeremy Corbyn from having a bank account. He would say Jeremy Corbyn.
There is nobody out there at the moment that shouldn't be allowed to have a bank account. If one has it, all have it. That's it. So even if Jimmy Savile was alive now, right? If you start with him and saying he's a fucking wrong and you get rid of his bank account, it starts there and then it escalates.
Yeah.
So it shouldn't start.
If Jimmy Savile was alive, he should be buried under a prison
A
somewhere.
hell of a lot of compensation
Well,
for the
ask some
people he
questions.
abused, but you wouldn't take his bank account away. You'd just make him pay the money that he owed to the people he abused.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, someone like Jimmy Savile is a bit of an exceptional scenario.
It's an extreme version.
Yeah,
of
it's
it.
an extreme. But what I will say is this happened to Laura Towler and this happened to Mark Collette, and no one said a word. No one made any complaints because they were the quote unquote really bad people. Now, don't get me wrong. I have 1,000 things that I disagree with Towler and Collette's politics. But that has nothing to do with them living in Britain as a citizen and having all the services that's available to all the citizens of this country. These things are the facilities for you to live in this country. If we believe that when we live in a civil
let's just
society,
call it what it is. Just call it what it is. It's a slow death sentence, especially in a world where we're now pushing towards a cashless society where everything's going to be digital. Without a bank account, you will not be able to get goods and resources. How are you supposed? You won't be able to pay for anything.
It's not even that. People have been talking about this, by the way, for a long time now, at least 10 years. When your smart devices, when they say Internet of Everything, when that starts to come, one day your fridge will quiz you on your cholesterol intake before it lets the door open. Your car will tell you you've not got enough social credit point to go down the road to shop. That's what's coming. People don't believe this.
My fridge better keep its fucking mouth shut then.
Quite a fridge.
I'm telling you, your fridge will be like, do 10 push-ups now before you can have a snack.
In all fairness, I think we're all halfway there already.
I don't know if any of you saw on the news there was what's the name, which had done this survey on how much we could eat or supposed to be able to eat and that. And they were doing it on how many Pringles you're supposed to eat or how many quality.
A whole tub, a whole tube. That's the lot.
And so this guy a reporter goes on the street and he's asking people about that. How many Quality Street do you think you should be able to eat? Well, he goes up to this guy and he says to him about how many Quality Street do you think you should be able to eat? And this guy looks at him and he says, Quality Street? Quality Street? He says, is that supposed to be a meal or something? He said, why would you ask me about how many Quality Street you got to eat? And he says, well, they're doing a survey. And the bloke says, well, he says, I don't eat quality streets. I said, just
Whereabouts did this happen, and is he going to be around tomorrow? Because I've got a day
can we
off.
interview him?
I will want to go and answer this survey.
Well, that turned out this guy said he looked about 50, and he said to the bloke at the end, he said, well, I don't need any rubbish like that. He said, I'm 81, and they were all shocked when they.
Sorry, he just says it's Class A's and Red Bull for me, mate, all the way.
I think we're probably talking about the portion, because on the quality street and everything else, it says like a serving is something like 4. Serving of quality street is for a day is supposed to be something like 4 quality.
What,
4.
I mean,
for a child?
I was like the other guy. I thought that quality street was something.
Maybe 4 handfuls, yeah, but no.
Give them out to the kids like one at a time or something, or if they're having a game of pass the parcel, they might open up before it gets to the end, and there's a quality street there. And then you pass the parcel on to the next kid, and that goes on like that. It's not.
How many calories does one quality street have? Maybe that's the question.
I don't know.
Maybe that's the question. They want to know how many, the calorie equivalent of quality streets that you're meant to have every day, or that your limit, kind of.
I don't think we can qualify quality street as one of your 5 a day.
These people. No.
I don't think it's qualified.
Yeah, but basically, for an adult of any weight or height, you've got a recommended calorie intake, and if you go over, then it's too much.
That's
so maybe that's what they're getting at.
Would you say to
maybe they want to know, do you know how many quality streets
right,
you can
hang on,
eat
before we go any further,
go
I'm
over
now going to
your-
migrate, because I can feel it. Right, I'm now going to migrate to Rumble. So if you are watching, still, the link has just gone in the description. It will go in again. I'm going over to Rumble now because I can feel things warming up.
YouTube.
So
Where the fuck that's
there you go. So what
Right,
have we
I found an just for the guy on the phone now. I found an article. It was from 2022, the end of 2022, and it says that one quality street is estimated to have around 45 calories, which means that one serving is 2 sweets, which would be 90 calories. That's one serving.
There you go. Before you go over your quota of calories, that's probably what the questionnaire was about. How many can you eat before you are eating too many?
I do two.
I was talking to a guy who's a weightlifter, and he said they're so convinced that if they take 250 or 2,500 calories, that's all they need to do. But he says they believe that they could eat 2,500 calories of Mars bars a day, and it would do just the same as them as eating a healthy diet. The fucking rejects. But there are people out there that think like that. Well, it's 2,500 calories. Anyway,
a calorie is a calorie.
Another thing. Just before I go, I don't know if you saw another one. This John Kerry, the American, got asked about his flights, and he claimed that he didn't have a private jet. So this bloke in their Congress or whatever keeps these questions going to him, and it turns out he said, "Well, I haven't got a plane, but." My wife has got a plane.
Oh, right. You mean it shifted
And
fucking ownership overnight?
And then this was on this Russell Brand thing, and he was actually taking the piss something chronic out of there. Oh, you haven't got a plane, and you're telling everybody else not to fly and cut down on your cars and everything. But it just so happens that your wife's got a private jet, and you fly off to these conferences all around the world in this private jet, lecturing everybody about climate change.
Oh, yeah, because it's all right when they do it.
Yeah, exactly. So I was just basically saying for anybody, any of our friends out there, if they ever get sort of worried about, oh, I'm going on holiday, but I shouldn't be doing this because it's going to, change the climate and everything, just think on John Kerry and all his lectures and all the rest of it, and think, what a mode of
Hang on,
hypocrites
one
they
sec.
all are.
I know,
And
but
it's
let's
just if you think of the logic, would it be okay for a fireman to light a fire to teach you about fires and how bad they are? That's basically the same thing. They can go.
Actually, that's quite educational.